Wait, I went back way too far. I just want to see the interviews, bro. Oh no. He just looks like so much like one of the people from Whoville. I can't get over it. Oh, probably never. Listen, that's what I feel like a lot of people were missing in the Andretti conversation last year when people were so mad about it. Is like a lot of times the new teams flop. And that's not to say that there should never be new teams because of that. But a lot of times it really doesn't make them, because sometimes it does. But a lot of times it really doesn't make like a meaningful difference in the actual races that we watch. Oh, I hate this energy management bullshit. It's so bad. The engines are so bad. I also wish people would stop saying like, "Oh, fuck the regulations," because there are like three distinct branches to the regulations, and what you're really mad about is the engine. And what they're gonna do is be like, "Oh, okay, we'll change like the boot. You guys don't like the boost? Like, okay." When it's really the problem is the power exchange between the battery and just the clipping and the energy management of it all, like, it's just not it. But hang on, wait, I need to get a sponge. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna do my makeup, so, um but yeah, when people are like, "Oh, fuck the regulations," I'm like, "No, you need to be specific. It's the new battery hybrid engine bullshit. It's the engines. The engines are the problem." And they'll never change the engines because they've done so much goddamn negotiation over it and they've locked it in until like 2150. Although I will say, um, I do have a conspiracy theory. I think they're getting a tax break because of it. Hello. Oh, let me turn up my volume. Hello.
Hola. Hola.
How are you feeling? Not
Uh,
great, I presume.
so here's the thing. I've actually had a delightful morning outside of George Russell's existence. Went to the liquor store.
Jesus
Went to
Christ.
McDonald's for breakfast.
That sounds like, to be honest with you, low key concerning.
Well, no, it's just like I'm either going now or I'm going in like 4 hours. I have not started drinking.
Listen, I'm not no judgment zone. I also feel like I love McDonald's. I'm the number one world's number one McDonald's stand, but also I do remember like the worst time of my life. I was literally everyone at work was being so mean to me, a grown adult, that I would go to a particularly sad McDonald's location that I will tell you privately later because it's very funny, but I don't wanna reveal, like, it is pretty close to my current house. Um, the and sit there and quietly cry as I ate my McDonald's lunch in McDonald's because I was so scared of the people that I worked that I didn't wanna go back there because I knew they'd make fun, and I was like, "This McDonald's is the only thing bringing me happiness in my life." So I do sort of associate McDonald's with, like, a deep depression.
No, I had a good morning, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay.
Oh my god.
We're just gonna. Max isn't gonna be a problem. This Red Bull is fake nonsense. They gave Isaac a grid penalty intentionally to rig it for Max so that Max can get the toe so he would stop being a whiny little bitch.
Oh, does he have an engine penalty?
Isaac's going all the way to the back. Isaac's going all the way back.
Wait, what did he do? I totally missed that.
He took the whole fucking kit and caboodle. He took a new fucking everything. He was
Oh,
able to get Max to go.
okay. My stupid sticky thing on the back of my phone has detached itself from my phone, which is very irritating at
So
this.
Lander's taking a 10 plus good job. Also, I have Rendell slander for you in like 3 minutes.
Love that.
But no, Isaac's taking the full kit and caboodle and going all the way to the back. To be clear, I am fake conspiracizing that they give him the
No,
green
no, I know. I just that's interesting. No, I mean, I George should.
The Red Bull should not have split the Mercedes on pace.
Yeah.
That was a Max got aggressive toes that helped him.
I mean, but Max is still 3 seconds behind Kimmy. So, like, no offense, George. Get it together.
Yes. Counterpoint. Have we
3 seconds. Sorry, 3 tenths. Imagine if he was 3 seconds behind Kimmy.
I knew what you meant. Uh, but
No, I know you did. I just caught myself and I was like, wait a minute, that would be insane.
Right. So here's the thing. George is gonna be P2. George is gonna be like P2 by the fourth lap. Because Lando's also,
Oh, they're gonna pull a McLaren special on us, aren't they?
No.
Oh, you think George is gonna catch Kimmy? I bet you. Okay, here's my dream race, just in terms of like my sheer personal selfish entertainment.
The merch scratch each other around and it's a Lewis Charles fight for the win.
Okay, never mind. That's better than my idea. I was gonna say, um, George gets by, what's their faces? They catch him in the pit stop, and it's not wholly because, but he does a lot of the catching on track. But Kimmy has like a slightly fucked up pit stop in some way. Not too bad, but slightly fucked up. George is right on his ass. They try to team orders him. George says no, passes him, and everyone is like, remember, everyone was like, this is like the the true beginning of the championship fight. And also remember when Oscar Piastri was too much of a pussy to do this.
remember when Lando Norris explicitly asked for them to pin Oscar first?
Yeah, and then they did.
Shit with the front. Here's the thing. I remember races so much worse when you and I don't get to talk about them.
No, same, because it's like I need to like I also literally after it's I remember things in the past couple years so much worse because I need to rewatch it before because the first time I'm consuming the information is pure emotion. And also I'm so locked in on Charles that like I'm not really paying attention to the rest of them. I mean, I am to a certain degree, but like not the way I would be when I rewatch. So when I rewatch the race, that's when I really am like, okay, like I'm gonna remember everything that happened now.
But the last few years have not given you a reason to rewatch any race.
Why the fuck would I want to do that to myself?
Right.
It's not even about Charles. It's about the fact that like it has been.
The fact that you could just watch you could just watch turn one and then like you would know the winner.
I could also watch paint dry. I could also watch paint dry and produce the same effect. And that just goes to show you that the championship race isn't everything in terms of like entertainment value because I go back and rewatch 2020 all the time. And that is like saying something because Seb is suffering during that season.
The fact that you do that to yourself feels like.
But some of the races are really.
Yeah, but rewatching a shit set season for you, feel like we need to get you like psychiatric help.
No, that's just.
It's like when a guy texts his friends, I love you, bro. Don't do it.
No, it's not worth it. No, I would if I ever am rewatching 20. I've watched the 2018 season one time, and if I ever watch it again, that is a cry for help, genuinely. But 2020 is so entertaining that like, and I'm not rewatching it like start to finish. I'm just rewatching like certain races, and also it is like the subplot to 2020 of Charles like desperately trying to make Seb like defend Seb is so like fucking, but also being like a complete nightmare to deal with on track is like so, and the slow resignation of Sebastian Vettel as he realizes that he has been like, it's literally the when moms are like, I hope you have a daughter that's just like you. That's what happened to Sebastian Vettel. And he's like, how
I
could
mean,
I hate myself, but also I fucking hate you. But then Charles is like, I love you. Quite literally.
well, well, that yeah, and then it's just like you. I imagine being Seb Vettel, having the worst year of your life, being fired from the team that you love.
And their golden boy is like, I am in love with you.
No, not even that. And then you have to fucking film the dumbest Ferrari challenge video with this golden retriever puppy who just wants to make you happy.
But I also think it says something so like positive about Seb's spirit that like at through the course of the year and those videos, you can see at first he's like, I don't want to be here, but like he cannot help, like he cannot bring himself to be mean to Charles. So he just like slow, and because of that, he just like entertains it and it like slowly charms him through the course of those videos. And then the last one being like, guess who? And and the
Is
something
he
that will live
pretty?
what?
Is he pretty?
The jump cut after that question will live in my head rent free forever. Hashtag release the footage. I want to know who he guessed. And I also, if I could ask Sebastian Vettel one question, it would be who would you have, like, who of the drivers would you have flipped down and who would you have kept up in that situation? Please, and I would provide him with a list of the 2020 grid and a highlighter.
I mean, here's the thing. It's Seb. I can name every. Do we think that like they decided to do the name every world champion as like essentially Seb Vettel like affirmative action? We need him to win something. So we're winning all the grids.
Step Vettel affirmative action is crazy work, first of all. Second of all, no, I actually think what happened purely, and I purely believe this because it's funnier, because I didn't know that he could do that. And if I don't know something about Sebastian Vettel, I feel like there's no way a Formula One, unless he's like doing this at parties, which kind of wouldn't surprise me. But I I do think that the funnier and more likely outcome is that like he has just been randomly preparing for this his entire life because he was also really good at all of the other trivia ones. So and he has said before that he loves to watch old F1 seasons. So I think he's like me with the 2012 season, but the variety is a little wider. Plus he
Yeah.
probably watches them with his kids.
Yeah, presumably. I mean, to just get like the 50s and 60s ones,
So
and to like,
I could get a lot of them. I could not get them all, and I could certainly not get them all in order.
well, that's the thing, right? Like, remembering that there's like a David Hill and a Villeneuve and like a whoever the fuck. Like, I remember that those people exist. You asked me to tell you which year.
Bro, I can't even remember which one of the other Hills is Damon Hill's dad. Yeah, he and Nico are the only, it's interesting. The only drivers' kids that have gone on to win, like, their own championship have been the sons of one-time world champions, and they were also both one-time world champions. And they both won it 36 years after their father.
34.
Right, that number.
Bro, the Croft, you're like 34 years after his
You're
father.
right. Yes, you're right. I always think it's 36 for some reason.
I have watched the final lap of Abu Dhabi 2016 too many times in my life.
Yeah. I have a thing is like, what's interesting is like for someone who loves both of them so much, like I can't even go back and watch the Mercedes years, like because but you're just watching two people like suffer emotionally and physically. Like they both are just like I'm like, this is like low key like sad. Like most of the other championship fights, like I like find deeply hilarious when they're, like, super pissed off at each other and shit. That one I'm just like, cause like, they're really not pissed, like, they're both pretending to be pissed, but are very clearly, like, extremely sad, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't like to watch this."
You feel like you're watching Marriage Story.
Literally.
Or like, basically you feel like you're watching a Bob Back movie instead of a sporting championship.
Right, I'm like, "Oh, no," like, I feel really bad for both of you right now. Oh, no. There we go. I'm like, "Oh, no, this isn't I didn't think this isn't what I signed up for when I started." That that does make me laugh when, there was a girl who posted the Brokeback Mountains, like, "We coulda had a good life" speech, and she's like, "When you just wanted to throw on a new sport and it starts sounding like this," and all of the comments were like, "Mercedes." I was like, "No, that is so real." But I did one with, like, me, like, just throwing on a random BBC documentary in the background to do some work because I always do, and it starts sounding like this.
You were okay. So can I shit on Brendel now, please?
Yes.
So Brendel just being like Lando will start 12th because of Isaac's grid penalty. No, he won't. No, he won't. No, 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 Martin Brundle. That's not how grid penalties work. That's not how overlapping grid penalties work.
To be honest with you, I do not know how overlapping grid penalties work, if I'm gonna be fully honest with you here.
So, you. So the way it works is, and I remember this because of, oh, the
Oh.
what the hell, the Nick DeVries Monza. What year was that? 20.
Why the fuck would you remember the Nick DeVries?
No, no. The Nick DeVries Monza is a very important race in modern F1 history.
Why?
That was the one where everyone and their mother took a fucking grid drop.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, I do remember that one now.
This is when Gasly tweets, "Does anybody know what position I'm starting in?"
Yes, yes.
And then it's like,
And I also think like on top of that, like half of them got impeding penalties, and everyone was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
no. So that race, because there was talk of, because Max qualified second behind Charles, but was taking a 5 set place grid drop. But the thing is, everyone, so that because that year was the three main teams, and Lewis, Carlos, and Checo were all taking grid drops. But because they were all taking grid drops, they all did qualifying still. And so there was some talk that like Max was actually only going to fall to fourth because he goes to seventh, and then like those three dropped out, so he's actually goes to fourth. And it's no. What happens is basically you take the penalty, so you finish second, you then go to seventh for a 5 place drop, and then like all the penalty positioners lock in their positions, and then basically everybody who doesn't take a penalty just moves up and then Maxwell's in seventh, and then everybody moves up, and then whoever's in whatever, and then keeps going.
Okay, but what if there aren't enough penalty havers?
Then it's like, yes, in that case, you could be in a situation where, like, you know, if everyone is taking to the back of the grid, you're.
If everyone gets a grid penalty, they should all unionize and take their engine penalties at the same time.
Honestly,
Be like, we just want to race. We don't want to deal with these bullshit engines. Just wear through them super fast, but be like, okay, like every fifth race.
just everyone's taking a new one. It's fun. Everyone's taking a new one at Monza.
And just cost the team like $1 billion in engines.
Oh my god, would be hilarious.
That would be very funny. Oh, can I talk to you about my pet peeve that I've talked to you about 1 million times before? When we said
You're 4,000.
there could be many. Let's open up the binder. The when people say fuck the regulations, I need them to be specific. You're talking about the engines. You don't like the engine deployment situation. Because what's going to happen is they're going to be like, okay, we'll get rid of push to pass when push to pass isn't what's causing the clipping. It's the engine situation. And I do feel like push to pass could be achieved with a combustion engine. I don't know how because I am not a fucking car mechanic, but I do feel like you could just inject more fuel at some times versus others. I stand to be
there was battery before. Like there's always been like
you, or you could have a battery.
whatever.
Well, I am pro going back to a wholly combustion engine, but like you could have a battery for boost, or you could just inject more fuel. And to say, to say that electric engines are good for the environment in the context of Formula One is to be willfully stupid. You are dumb if you think that. And the people in charge don't think that, by the way. They just want the tax breaks. I don't know what tax breaks they're getting. I can't prove it, but I know it in my fucking soul. Okay? And if you genuinely believe that the one fucking cup of fuel that they use during a race, obviously I'm being hyperbolic, is worth saving that is worth, which by the way, they're still using some. So saving half of that is worth digging all of that copper and lithium and cobalt and whatever the fuck else is in those engines out of the ground to use that engine for 4 seconds and then throw it God knows where. You honestly shouldn't be allowed to vote. And that's my thoughts, that's my feelings.
Okay, think about the crimes American voters have committed, and then think about you being like, "This is the red line."
No, I think everybody should be allowed to vote. Obviously, that's not my real opinion. I don't really.
Democrats in Maine should be allowed to vote.
No. Sorry. No, obviously, I'm kidding.
Are you? Because I'm not.
Roy Cooper is going to put up Saddam Hussein numbers in North Carolina. Kamala won this state by 50 points. It's okay. It's fine. Everything. I love America. I'm wearing the shirt.
By the way, did I ever tell you about the time somebody was like, why does Formula whatever still let you on? You're so mean to her."
I don't think you're mean to me.
No, I'm like, no, this is our love language. Like, making fun of each other is how we express love. We are the same person.
You also enjoy triggering me, but that's okay because my favorite thing in the world is getting mad about the same shit over and over again. Like it brings me life. It is my life. I was also so funny. I was talking about my best friend Hannah, who I've literally been friends with since like high school, so like decades now. I was telling her about how someone commented to you was like, "Oh, like you're always interrupting her," and I was like, and she was like, I honestly, I like forget that that's not how people have conversations. Is just like constantly interrupting each other. Like that's how one conducts a conversation. Like no, same, literally.
No, it was so funny when this happened. This happened like a while ago. But they found me on Twitter to be like, why are you so like, why does she keep letting you on? You're so mean to her. And I'm like, no, I love CJ with like.
No, we're friends. I also feel like it's just I feel like a lot, and I do get this because like online, like it can be hard to tell. No, I am always interrupting myself. It can be like harder to tell and stuff, but I also feel like what people don't get, and this is I think a big problem with like the TikTok comments in general, is that like when you know someone, you can how they meant that the tone they intended, right? Like you can infer that much more easily. Whereas, and I've gotten better about it. I feel like a big problem I had when I first started TikTok was like people would comment stuff and I would just like take it in a like read it in a really negative way and be like, "Rah!" But like it's not like it's but at the same time, then they would always be like, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." And I'm like, "But did you or did you not?" I reading tone via text is like so hard in general, but I also just feel like I'm like, I also don't feel like you're that mean in general.
I can't. In general, I'm incredibly mean.
Only to Justin Trudeau.
McCarthy's people are very happy with me this week, but whatever. We'll get.
I think he should try to go for like the triple crown and become the prime minister of England. Those are my real thoughts on Mark Carney.
England needs him, so.
No, what do you mean? Keir Starmer too is going to be great. He's using all of his political capital to move number 10 to Manchester to a car park in Manchester for some reason.
Okay, but here's the thing: it's sloppyism but the British people were
You
all.
don't think that going from trying to relocate the government from one of the most beautiful examples of Gothic architecture in the world to again an abandoned office building in Manchester is going to be a great idea? You don't think that forcing all of the super posh civil service people who have lived in London their entire lives to move to Manchester is going to go well when those people are the ones in charge of helping you and implementing your policies? You don't think that's a
This was also
you
this
don't
was
think pissing all those people off right off the bat is a good idea?
new. However, this is a country that voted for Brexit and was about to elect Nigel Farage.
Listen, I can't even talk shit, okay? We're
No, I can't now.
That's true, you can.
No, here's my thing about Burnham is this was literally a plot on Yes Prime Minister in the '80s of they're gonna relocate like a bunch of like defense shit from London to the north.
That would actually probably be smart.
Yes, and counterpoint, the generals in the civil service basically fucking mutinied against to force the employment secretary out because fuck the idea.
Yeah, I would also do that if you told me I had to move from London to Manchester. That's like being like, "Hey, you know how you live in New York City? What if we forced you to relocate to Philadelphia?" Not Philadelphia, that would actually be fine. To Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, don't slander Manchester, okay? Some of the
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's just a mid-tier city. There's plenty of them in America. There's like 8 cities in the world that are as good as London.
No, I know. Just put some respect. Just put some respect on the voices.
Also, you have to think from the POV of these are the snobbiest people in the whole world. They're apex predators of snobbery. I love the posh and I want to perform unethical psychological experiments on them. Um But they're not gonna be happy in Manchester. It's like relocating an endangered species to, like, the Sahara Desert. Like, they're not gonna do well. And then you have to think from the people of Manchester's perspective, now you have to deal with those people. They're gonna be wandering around. You might have to encounter one in real life.
Oh my god. Yes, and everyone in California. Yes, and here's the dirty little secret: half of the New York bureaucracy is just run from New York City, anyways. Like, and most of California is ran from San Francisco, and the entirety of Illinois politics is run from Chicago, anyways. We probably have to be nice to Lander Norris, don't we?
I was nice to him in my video.
Really? I did not know.
No, and it's shameful that the government of New York is in Albany. Like, they're probably missing out on a lot of top tier talent because nobody wants.
No, because they just pay that top tier talent to work from New York, anyways.
And again, that makes logistically speaking, you would have to because who the fuck would move to Albany? Full offense. I have relatives from Albany. I spent a lot of time there. Okay, I can say that. Not the
or they just work for the city of New York, which is the other part of this.
Yeah, not
Maybe the reason that Andrew Cuomo got away with having Republicans running his state senate for 8 fucking years was before anybody fucking noticed was because no reporter who had the choice wanted to live in Albany, and no fucking civil servant, and nobody who could have had the political capital to say, "Hey, Andrew, fuck off."
Oh. That fuck ass bridge. Sorry, we'll get back to Formula One, but that fuck ass bridge. They renamed the Tappan Zee the Mario Cuomo Bridge, and I'm still mad about it. First of all, it was named after the Native Americans. Like you already like you can't like you took away everything, and now you're taking away the fucking bridge. Like, can they have nothing? Like, that's so rude. Like, really, it's just insult to injury. Like, are you fucking kidding? To name it after Mario Cuomo, too, like.
Well, okay, but Mario Cuomo gave like a kind of good speech one time and then lost re-election to fucking George Pataki.
And it was only because of his fuck ass son who killed 10,000 old people.
Speaking, are you allowed to discuss the other bridge-related news?
What bridge related news?
The Gordie Howe Bridge.
Oh, definitely not, but also.
Well, let's just say if you want to have fun, read like two columns ago of mine where I rip into Carney for completely botching the sales job on the deal we had to make with Trump, and then understand that since I wrote that column, there have been 4 news stories about what is and isn't in this deal and how much money the Americans are actually getting. And I had PMO staffers complaining to me that I was too mean about the comms failure, as they have had to put out 4 more clarifying answers this week.
Sounds like they don't like being told they're bad at their job. Correct.
Sounds like if they would like to not be told they're bad at their jobs, they should stop being bad at their jobs.
Strong agree. Also, but I'm also like, again, I'm not commenting on anything. But if I were to give Mark Carney some hypothetical advice, why don't you just wait until someone who isn't being paid off by the owner of the other bridge is the president of America? Seems like you might get a better deal in that case.
Yeah, I mean, the dirty little secret that no one can say aloud is that, like, if bourbon's going to be allowed back in Ontario liquor stores in 2029, it is going to come with, oh, and by the way, our side agreement I made with Trump about the bridge is going bye-bye. Yeah. We can't say that in public because then Trump would be like, well, fuck you.
That's the thing is all of the podcasters and the Alistair Campbells of the world are like, European leaders need to stand up to Trump. I'm like, no, I actually think you guys should just lie. That seems to be the best strategy. But what do I know? I'm like, honestly, Mark Carney is actually kind of nailing it in his strategy of whatever, man.
Well, the funniest thing that ever happened is the fact that Carney in the Oval called Trump a quote transformative president.
Well, is he wrong?
People lost their shit at it because it's like, why are you complimenting him? I was like, transformative is not.
That's because that is the kind of subtle shade that could only truly be appreciated in the nation of England. Where they will never, it is actually illegal to openly say anything. So you really, it's for its creativity.
No, I mean, here's the. I mean, we should talk about Orlando.
We're proud of Lando. Oh, that was we also, how cute are my heart, like, but I have heart-shaped ice cubes. Charles the one.
Nice, good job. Congratulations.
Fuck you, Twitter.
Is Twitter being very dumb about, like, was the narrative like Charles washed?
No, the narrative right now is that the only reason Charles is doing good again is because he's stealing Lewis's data. Because as you know, Formula One drivers.
Hadjar's going all the way to the back. He took the whole king to boodle of vengeance, so that's why they just got him into Q3 to get Max a tow, but. Well, and to, like, get him into Q3, I think people do underestimate, like, the Red Bull second driver making it to Q3 is, like...
Isaac is doing amazing, okay?
He's doing great, but, like, and I think keep the momentum going, like, show him that he can still do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, instead of just wasting him, like, having...
I mean, Max will have to do that eventually as well, so...
Do we think Max is going to give Isaac a tow?
If he has to go to the back, yeah.
I'm just saying, never did it for Checo.
Did he not? When he had to take it, was there a situation where he had to take an engine penalty and, like, didn't do it?
Russia, 2021.
Okay, maybe he won't. That'll be interesting.
I mean, he just didn't do well that day. Now, it was also Russia, and, like, I don't know if the tow would have been help.
The Russian Grand Prix feels like a fever dream. The fact that Vladimir Putin, major historical,
one of the most consequential Mercedes photos we have.
Lewis and Nico are having each Nico Rosberg is visibly struggling to cry. Lewis Hamilton is dissociating. He is on a different planet. We are witnessing one of the most toxic codependent situationship breakups of all time. And then the camera pans, and who is in the corner? Vladimir fucking Putin. That would be like if at the Australia, you're like jumping up and down, they're hugging each other at Australia, and it pans over and it's fucking Chairman Mao. Like, what is going on?
China, not Australia.
Well, but that happened in Australia, so that's why I said that. But yeah, sure. China 2012 was also a heartwarming. It's like Jensen, Nico, and Lewis, they're hugging their best friends, and you pan over, and the ghost of Chairman Mao is in the corner, and you're like, what the fuck?
In fairness, it's also not any less weird when it's like Anthony Albanese. He hasn't done it, but like when it's like an elbow or like whatever, that's still weird.
No, it is because it's Vladimir Putin. He's the most visibly.
It's weird when Ron DeSantis hands out the fucking trophies.
Yes, because not everybody in the world, not for us, but most people don't know who Ron DeSantis is. Visually.
I really wish I was one of those people, Teeps.
Same. And also I would argue that Vladimir Putin physically resembles a comic book villain in a way that does raise it to the next level of funniness.
True, true. Can we take a second to talk about the fact that Ron did?
But also, by the way, I do think that Vladimir Putin is more evil than Ron DeSantis. Like,
that was not what I was trying to. I was not trying to imply.
They're both, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Both evil. And I do think that if Ron DeSantis had the capacity to be Vladimir Putin, he would choose to be. But he just doesn't.
Can we talk about the fact that Ron DeSantis' voice is like an octave too high for what he looks like?
He sounds like he's doing a fake voice. I feel the same way about him that I feel about the Rory Stewarts of the world, where I'm like, are you? I don't think you talk like that when you're like at home. You know what I mean?
Well, I realized in 2023 when he ran for president, I had never actually heard Ron DeSantis speak. I had only seen the quotes.
God, I wish I could say.
I started listening to him because he was running for president, and I'm like, damn, your voice is too high.
Wow, this is really you reinforcing toxic masculinity. Okay.
I will be toxic for Ron DeSantis. Thank you very much.
As is your God-given right.
Yes.
Eagle screech. But
Lindblad did well.
He did do really well.
Can we talk about the fact that racing bulls are also have figured out the fair way to deal with an upgrade package when you only have one upgrades package?
What do they do?
The guy who won the previous race gets it.
Okay. I like that.
Better at the previous race? Yeah, it's a fair way. It's that or flip a coin. Like, it's very funny to me.
Wait, I like that actually. That's smart.
How has no one figured this out before? What the fuck?
I know. Because they just give it to their fave. I don't mind that because then you can tell who the favorite is definitively.
It is. Oh my god.
Except for in some situations, it does make sense. Like if it's like, for example, like even when George was like beating Lewis in the first season, it still made sense to give Lewis the upgrades first because he's driven the car for like years and years. You know what I mean? Especially with.
It made more sense in Lewis's final year to give them to George because, respectfully, what the fuck are you? You know.
Well, he doesn't. Bad cars don't sit well with his spirit, and I respect that from Lewis.
I mean,
Lewis doesn't fuck with P5. He doesn't.
I do hate. Well, you say that as he is literally going to start in P5.
Well, and notice how he's behind Charles. He only cares. No, I'm kidding. This is a good. I think they're pretty well matched. Like, I think it's going to be a fun back and forth. But yeah, he just clearly he was, and also like you could tell he was just over it. Like it was the same thing at the end of the McLaren era. Like he was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna fight with Michael Schumacher to the death over P11 and crash out and be like, I don't care. I suck at Formula One. And I'm like, I don't think you do, girl, but you know, he's just Lewis is just a little dramatic. Who among us? Who among us?
The crazy thing about Team LH being completely insane is that, like,
It's just Twitter, by the way. They're normal everywhere else. Like, I think I will say I am unfair because I got blocked by all of the craziest look Fosi over saying Charles should like consider leaving Ferrari, and like that I think it's crazy to make like career choices based on like sentimental situations. They all blocked me and were like, you hate Charles and you don't respect his dead father. And I'm like, whoa, bro. So I think and I'm so scared of Team LH that I just like don't really engage. So I think that I'm seeing an unfair split of the population, if that makes sense.
Counterpoint. I had to deal with Team LH for 3 years. You are not seeing an unfair representation.
Well, I also think there's just again, I think there are
it's classic law of big numbers.
well, yes, exactly. There's just so many more of them. And I also think that there are a lot of people on Twitter with Team LH in their handle or bio, as there are with all of them. But again, it's just greater numbers because there are more Lewis fans who have never been fans of a sport before. And so they don't totally understand, like, A, like that you need to be shaping the narrative here, and B, that you're setting your own self up, and C, that like someone rooting for their driver does not mean that they want Lewis Hamilton to die.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Is that like if you can like Billie Eilish, Taylor Swift, and Olivia Rodrigo.
Well, that's the craziest thing in the world. And as you know, this is my stance on why homophobia is really so harmful because I'm like so many of these like gay people on Twitter that are arguing with each other over who's the best. I'm like, you yearn to be sports fans. I know you do. Like because
you need to be callers into WEI.
We are missing out on so many great football takes because of homophobia, and it really upsets me because now I have to listen to like, this shit about music when I'm like, I don't know. I listen to both of these people. Like I don't, and also what I wish so bad that like I feel like we can have rap beef, and most of and neither side is like, oh, you're being mean to them. Why can we not expand that? Like, I don't really care if these two people like sort of don't like each other. Like that doesn't affect my life at all. And I also think that you can have enemies without being inherently evil. Like I don't but you know where that attitude would go so far? WEEI.
Oh my god. It's oh my god. These people no, also, but remember on the Team LH narrative in 2025, like end of 24, beginning of 2025, was that it's like Lewis and Charles versus Ferrari, like we're gonna whip this into shape, and Charles isn't gonna be, focused on beating us. We're gonna be focused on delivering a championship, and all of this shit,
I
implicitly.
think that that's sort of
That is actually what has happened, but now.
right.
When Lewis and Charles work together by, sharing setup data, a very normal thing that teammates always fucking do.
But they were always doing that. That's every teammate always has looks at the other person's data. This hasn't been an issue since Prost and Senna in 19 fucking 89.
Right. But now that Charles is the one who is benefiting. Because the thing is,
Do they think, and that's the craziest part is like that implies that you think that Lewis Hamilton is not looking at not just Charles's, everybody else's data, which would be like criminal malpractice. That would be stupid. Lewis Hamilton is not dumb. Like he's looking at other people.
Yeah, no, but Lewis seems to like a more conventional setup on Fridays. And he likes teammates who are willing to try.
And that works perfectly because Charles loves to try shit.
Right. And same with George. And Valtteri was, just a lost puppy who would just do whatever Lewis wanted. Whatever Taylor told him to.
Right.
But, like, Lewis likes to have time in the car in what he wants the setup to be. Oh. Whereas Charles and Max and George, and I think it's partially because they've just like been on like online simulators and all this shit for just like longer, or is way more comfortable with like fuck around on a Friday, save it on a Saturday in a way that like I don't want to say Lewis can't do that. He certainly has done it many times, but he just like he wants to try a more conventional setup, see how it works. The other teammate does the wackier shit. If the wackier shit's 3/10 fucking faster, go for it. But quite frequently, you know, Charles, and this was true of George as well, they were kind of put in the job of like, they were kind of like put in the role of like, try it. It's probably not going to work, but maybe it does, or maybe part of this we can, you know, we can salvage, which then makes it, you know.
But I think Charles,
Makes it look like quote unquote we're using Lewis's setups when actually what's happening is you have combined to make a decision that you know you're trying this shit and gonna figure it out.
yeah. I also think Charles like I think it works out. Like I think Charles prefers to be in that position. And so like it and also literally all of them are looking at not just their teammates' data, but all of the data from all of the Formula 1 cars. That's how it works. Like is this your first day on earth? Anyone who's falling for this, you're dumb.
Yep.
Period. Again, this hasn't been an issue since 1989. We have long accepted that we're all using each other's data.
Well, and of course,
It's public information.
and also, if these people were real Lewis fans, they would understand that the gravest crime ever committed in F1 was when Jensen allegedly wasn't giving his data to Lewis.
But they're not because these people started watching F1 in 2021 and I don't want to be a fucking snob about it, but it's just like sometimes you don't
Hey. I am a 2022 F1 fan. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you learned the history and the context because you know that if you want to argue with people effectively, you need the whole picture. Duh.
Hashtag not all new fans.
There's nothing wrong with being a new fan. Everybody has to be a new fan at some point. To me, the misplaced confidence of it all is very irritating to myself personally. And it is the same people I can tell so easily with Seb because the people who are like, oh, Seb never won a competitive championship.
Well, because what happens is he won 4 in a row.
So they just assume, but you could, all you have to do is look at the Wikipedia article. You don't even have to watch the season.
No, I know. I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying, like, because
Exactly. Like you got it. You can like. There's no any. We all start when we start. Also, I watched when I was a kid. I still went back and rewatched all of it. If I had just not done that, I wouldn't know anything. I barely remember. I remember like liking Sebastian Vettel and following Lewis Hamilton on Instagram and like a few other things. I also in 2020 went back and rewatched everything. There's literally nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying like if you're going to be forming opinions strong enough to be like attacking other people on the internet, do like give the Wikipedia a peruse, perhaps.
So this was the thing that was crazy to me when because I knew I was going to do a rewatch, so I didn't really like spend. I didn't want to spoil the rewatch, but I knew Lewis had won 14, 15, Nico wins 16, and then it's 4 straight Lewises before 21.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking in my head, and people are talking about it as Mercedes dominance and 8 straight constructors, right? That's the narrative. And I rock up to 2017, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ferrari, you're good?
Well, just wait. Just wait.
Well, right. And I'm like, there's like a looming sense of like, well, something is about to happen here.
Oh,
and then I get to, you know, 2017 Germany, and then I get to 2018 Germany, and I'm like, oh, I see what happened here.
Singapore, Japan.
But like, there's this great, like, there was this like kind of jump scare of like, what do you mean Ferrari won like 3 of the first 5 races?
They used to like to do that sometimes to really lure you in before they ripped your fucking heart out again.
But here's the thing. I was not confidently declaring how the 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020 seasons had gone before I watched those seasons.
Well,
Like, you know?
exactly.
I didn't, because I was assuming that, like, well, they talk about it as Mercedes dominance. Like, so it's just kind of going to be like, because I walked into 2017 and I'm like, if this season is bad, I'm just going to, like, dip to 2018. And if that's bad,
It's actually good. I will never watch it again, but it is good.
Well, and then it's just like, oh, Seb Vettel is like,
And that's why it's so funny where it's like Lewis and Seb's racing was so respectful, like they never got angry at each other. And I'm like, tell me you haven't watched those seasons without telling me you haven't watched those seasons. Because yeah, they never did take it to like a personal place in the way it was very like Max and Lewis coded, but like they just ended up being like good friends in the end. In a way that like obviously Max and Lewis aren't, but I'm like, they were fucking crazy.
tell me you don't know what you cannot literally picture when I say castle break test.
Yeah, and like the way that Sebastian Vettel crashed into Lewis Hamilton intentionally. But sure. And that's why the bro Sadie, the Lewis's current relationships with A, Sebastian Vettel, B Fernando Alonso make the bro Sadie's thing so much funnier because I'm like, it obviously isn't about what happened on track because if it was, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel would have killed each other by now.
Can I get a 2026 F1 takeoff?
Yes.
Free Ollie Behrman.
Oh, my child. So true. He's doing amazing, but like it's just,
Well, okay, is it a free Ollie Behrman situation? I mean, it is. That sucks. Esteban, my boy, get the fuck off this grid.
No, I actually think I think Esteban is the talent of a generation, and Ollie is just that special and perfect and beautiful. My son.
You just, oh my god. You anger me.
And that's how you work the narrative, folks. Come on.
I understand that that's how you work a narrative, but that would imply that you think that Pierre Gasly is a top talent, and I know you don't think that, so bite me.
Oh, no, it's true. He might get replaced by Yuki. Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, do they not? Does Ferrari not have a child that they can put in that role?
I don't know who the next. I don't know.
Begovic guy, is he any good?
I don't know who the next statue that they've reanimated in the basement of Maranello is on the conveyor belt, but I'm sure there's another one.
You need to get Dev. You need to get Dev to make this video because I unfortunately have no pull with Dev, but you do. you need her during summer break to do a like every team's driver academy. Like
that's true. She does. Everything I know about F2, I know from watching her videos. So
right, but like I just need the like definitive like who is in like what team everybody's in, and if they're like any good.
here's the thing: I can't get attached to these children. Let me know if you make it to F1.
Okay, but a couple of them are hot, and I figured out
they're 18.
No, they're like 21.
Okay, that's not as bad, but still, I don't get. I mean, you and I are fundamentally looking for different things. I do get why that doesn't bother you. For myself personally, when it comes to men, it's got to be 30 plus, 35 really, if we're being honest.
Well, you find Alistair Campbell hot, so like.
And just because I am into old men doesn't mean anything. That is a personal preference.
I'm not saying that I am attracted to any of these people, but like objectively, they know they're hot, and their whole thing on Instagram is just thirst trapping.
And I find it hilarious.
It's fucking like hilarious. But I'm just saying, like, there is a whole brand of these like people, and it's like I have no idea if you're any good.
I should do I want to do a Dance Moms pyramid purely about like ranking their thirst traps from an unbiased perspective.
Well, there better be a singular one at the top.
It's Big Mama Clap, obviously.
Obviously.
I unironically am a fan of him because of that video. It's so fucking funny. And we were all doing
People getting so mad at him for it was the funniest discourse.
we I'm sorry. I was nobody else doing like weird cringe shit when they were like whatever, like 17 on the internet. Like, come on. There's just and no, I just freaked out about this the other day on Twitter too because someone screenshotted like some I mean, were the posts vulgar? To be sure. If I was that child's parent, would I be like, take that the fuck down, you weirdo? Yes. But it is not people were like, oh, they're objectifying women. And it's literally just 18, like 19-year-old men being horny. Like that's literally all. Like it wasn't even really rude toward women. And I'm like, the first of all, again, do I think this is vulgar? Yes. Do I think you should post that on the internet? No. But it is definitively not objectifying. The only reason you think it is because you consumer think that sex is inherently degrading toward women, which is like a purity culture belief that you need to work on with a therapist. You like free yourself genuinely from that paradigm. And the
Gen Z being both incredibly like obsessed with queerness, but also like extremely anti-sex produces great discourse every so often.
it does. It really does. And you know what?
You can object. I'm really sorry here. You can say that you can know that someone is hot and not find them attractive. See me with
Nico Rosberg.
attractive woman ever.
That's true. Me with bottoms. Omegas. Sorry. I should use the politically correct language.
No, but it's just like I'm really sorry. Like Anne Hathaway does nothing for me. Objectively, a very attractive woman.
She is very hot. I will say that.
Tomei and my cousin Vinny, one of the most stunning and gorgeous women in the world.
What a specific pull. I love that though.
The dress when she's doing the when
Hang
she's
on.
stamping on my biological clock, it's one of the greatest.
Oh, I agree. I do agree. I like that dress. The but yes, I was like, and then the response to that is always like, oh, but like men see it as this, or like men will say this, or they talk. It's the same thing with people always say like, one thing about me, I love to fuck your friend on the way out. Like if there was one of your friends that I wanted to fuck, but I didn't, obviously, because I would never do that to someone I was dating. I'll circle back. Like I have no problem with it. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. Um and they're like, "Oh, they're like, but they're just going to like laugh at you and like talk about it." I'm like, "First of all, those people no longer exist to me. So like why would I care about that?" But also in general, it's the same thing with like the oh, but men think they're degree. I don't. Why would you care about what a man thinks? It like that thought has never occurred to me. Like those people and also any man who is gonna view me as lesser than for fucking whoever I fucked, let's be honest, he already does not like or respect me based on who I am as a person. So it's just not a concern.
I agreed on all accounts. Franco basically right on Gasly.
He's doing so good this season. Okay. And you know what?
Imagine telling somebody at the beginning of the year that Franco Colapinto would be like basically guaranteed a 2027 drive.
Thank God. We need to keep.
We were talking. Remember when Alpine was talking about like maybe we'll bring in Valtteri Bottas after Silverstone 2025, and now it's like, well, one, we have seen that the Bottas experience is not going well.
I mean, could you even judge like how that's going?
Isn't he losing to Checo?
Who would know? At that point, I feel like the teammate battle is just like whose car can survive more laps. Like, can we really judge their performance? Like, it gets to a point. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Twitter has opinions.
I mean, again, I am the furthest thing from a Valtteri Bottas defender, but I honestly think you just got to chalk that one up to the game. Like that, you cannot assess driver performance when your car can barely complete a lap and a half per weekend. Like, there's just
Did you see the video that Aston is slower on the straights than F2 cars?
But their engine can't be that bad. It's definitely Adrian Newey's fault. Can't wait for Monza. Also, by the way, PSA, if okay, because obviously, again, I feel I'm Bahrain, my sweet girl. I don't even think women should have rights. Um, but the Middle Eastern races are definitely getting canceled. I feel like because like the fact that they're like, oh yeah, like Bahrain is canceled, but we're still gonna do the UAE, which is for those unfamiliar with maps, this is the strait, this is the UAE. They form the strait. This is Iran. There's just I feel like no way they're gonna be able to make that. I mean, is the airspace even open for them to get there? Like
Well, again, the grand hope is that Donald Trump will be responsible at all.
Okay, so like I said, that shit's not happening.
So, okay, I will say, to ever so slightly defend whatever dumbass at Liberty Media.
Oh, I thought you were about to be pro Iran war for a second. I was like, where the fuck is this going? Okay, Tony Blair.
No, to defend whatever Liberty Media hack said this to, I think it was American.com. Oh, that just reminded me, I had no idea. So,
Fair.
to whatever person said this to Twitter.com, I think the difference is that Bahrain has like taken too much damage. That like their priorities are a little, right now.
That's true, but also, and to be fair, the UAE like is not as in as financially dire straits as Bahrain is. Like they were already like having some issues pre um Donald Trump deciding to blow up the world economy for no reason. So I would imagine that the UAE had a little bit more cash in reserve to like, replenish their Patriot missile stocks or something. But at the end of the day,
I think that's the bigger like thing happening with this discourse. Like, I don't think it's that like they can fly it. I don't think it's like, oh, we'll be able to fly the fucking the cars to
and the people. What about the fucking people, bro?
Well, yeah. Well, no, they don't give a shit about the people, CJ. They only care about their
Well,
fucking cargo.
and also logistically speaking, it's the cargo that needs to be insured. Like who insures it? And are they going to allow those races to happen? Is the real question. And I just cannot imagine that they would.
Well, as you said,
I don't think our policy covers active war zone.
Well, as you said, the myth of consent being, I consent. Lloyd's of London did not consent.
Lloyd's of London, and it's probably fuck ass Lloyd's of London that insures that one cargo, if we're being honest.
I would assume as much.
Same, because when I think of Bernie Ecclestone, I think of evil British institutions.
Correct. But no, I do think this is all based on a fever dream that like, make it to like September and everything's fine. Which is really based on a fundamental misunderstanding from dumb Americans that like Iran needs a deal. No, they don't. They would like a
It's
deal.
never the minute that strait closed, it was never opening again.
Well, this is the thing about dictatorships. This is the thing about dictatorships. They not having electoral pressures means they don't have electoral pressures.
A stunning assessment. Controversial, if true.
But you know what I mean.
No, I know, but the reason I'm saying that is because people don't understand that somehow.
Like, when you don't have to go to an electorate every 2 years, you have the ability to do a short-term gain for long-term gain. And Donald Trump, Mr. I'm gonna fix the economy, is Joe Biden just like want to because he hates America. Well, when
They also don't give a fuck. Like, that's what he doesn't realize. He thought this was going to be like Venezuela, where he could come in and be like, hey, I'll pay out, or Saudi Arabia, or Qatar, where he could come in and be like, hey, like, how about we both, like, mutually bribe each other, like, through these business deals, and then, like, you do what I want, and we'll pay you off, and we'll let you, like, spy on us with your weird jet, and it'll be great. But the thing is, because most oligarchs can be bought because all they really care about is money and maintaining their own power. The IRGC, and this is why they have foiled Trump, is because he cannot fathom somebody who actually believes what they say they believe. And the IRGC are religious zealots. So that's why Mike Pence confounded him. Because, again, a religious zealot actually believes what they claim to believe. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. Yeah. And as you know, the Constitution is in the Bible. So, and listen, say what you will about Mike Pence. I have many things to say. That man believes what he says he believes, which is that gay people are equal. Yes. Yes, I do. Oh. Remember when Mike Pence said that? Remember when Mike Pence said that he can't be alone with women other than his wife?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh. He also doesn't drink alcohol around women. I'm like, that is worrying to me. When you turn into the Hulk, like, this is crazy. Oh, ow! Oh, motherfucker! I stubbed my toe. I
Yeah, you okay?
Yes, it just hurts. And ow. Oh, reverse.
Okay, can I while you're recovering, can I rant about the death of WTF1?
Oh yes. Ooh.
Oh wow, it's almost like a media brand destroying one of F1's biggest media brands because you didn't understand that people were there for the people and not there for the fucking shitty corporate brand. Wasn't gonna fucking work in the medium term. Who the fuck could have seen that coming? Oh wait, literally everybody? Literally every singular person in society who immediately was like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Why on earth are you doing this?
Yeah, it is incredibly difficult to build an institution.
Like, this was never going to work. Almost like everybody with a brain told you it wasn't going to work. Almost like the fact that, the day that it happened in the WTF1 Discord, something like half of the Discord fucking canceled and left because they were all fucking apocalyptically mad. And, maybe if you had fucking asked any, I was a paid WTF1, person because of how much they fucking loved the pod back when it was Tommy, Katie, and Matt.
I know, I watched back then too. I liked it.
Well, because I used to go back and watch the watch-alongs when I was rewatching races from 21. So when I was watching the George Quali lap in Spa, I was watching them watch it with me. And that shit was gold. And they just pissed it away and then wasted. I think the final year of WTF1 was 20, real WTF1 was 22. And they wasted 3.5 years on a project that was never working. And everybody fucking knew it because even that first year, when they would post their post race pod with the new people and the P1 Matt and Tommy on YouTube, P1 with Matt and Tommy was getting like 100,000 views for like an average race. Maybe, 65,000 if the race was bad. For the same race, it would be like 7,000 on WTF1, despite the fact that WTF1 had like a million fucking subs. Oh, and by the way, WTF1 sub growth basically died the second it fucking happened. If not went backwards, actually. It took 3.5 years to fucking kill this shit. Just
It's so crazy to me because
to the dumbest recent sports media decision ever.
it's also so crazy to me because I feel like this always happens with media companies, right? Like they sell it to private equity so they can scale, right? And if I was an investor, I would just be like, grow this company, like hire more people, start new podcasts, hire more writers. You know what I mean? Hire an editor. But instead, they immediately come in and start like it's so crazy to me because I'm like, clearly what these people are doing has worked, right? That's why you wanted to buy this. So they immediately come in and they're like, no, you actually have to do everything this way. And it's like, but it's every time. And it always fails. And I'm like, there isn't one private equity guy who's like, hey, if we just like gave them like 3 big podcasts, the money to like grow and expand a media company, at least one of them will probably take off into like a motorsport.com type of thing. And then we will be printing money.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the example of this is the biggest sports podcaster in the world is a guy who got famous for writing columns about why Roger Clemens is the devil and writing like NBA draft live blogs where he's just like sitting on his couch with his dad and some number of his college roommates and just like and they're just like basically co-writing jokes about whether or not a player the woman that a player is hugging is his girlfriend or his wife or his girlfriend or his mother, right? Bill Simmons. The fact is, I'll never forget this line from an article about Simmons and Nate Silver and when ESPN bought 538, and it's like this person around. I can name 10 of Bill Simmons' college friends. I can't tell you whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. I suspect that's intentional. And it's like, yeah, but the fact that Bill Simmons has made millions of people care about his fucking college roommates, like,
I don't want to hear Bill Simmons' political opinions. Please, please, please.
no, not really. Like, agreed. He's a Democrat, and
Same thing like Tom Brady. You know what? He has, and that's, thank you. Thank you for that. Please don't ruin my childhood. That's all I ask. That's all I ask, Mr. Brady. And to perhaps remember that the mother of your children is an immigrant.
but like, it's just so funny. It's just so funny because like we have the example, and even like not that I like Joe Rogan.
Oh, Chris, we're back in P5 hell, unfortunately. We're back in P5 hell. No, but I will say, if you're about to talk about the need for like blue pill pipeline content,
No.
I agree though. But continue.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like Joe Rogan got famous for just having his comedy buddies on and like having UFC fighters on, and then he got massive, and then he like went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But like Rogan, like the backbone of the Rogan experience, pardon the pun, was just like it was just him shooting the shit with funny people that he liked, and it's like people like people. We know this. We have 4,000 examples of this, and we're still doing it. Like, and yet we still think that these are just like all like
No, and even when you look at like
people.
even when you look at like institutions, right, that have people are loyal to, like for example, like a sports league, every or March Madness, every single success like that, like the NBA has built itself as the second sport in America, well above the other two, by leaning in to bird magic, by leaning into LeBron, by like you know what I mean? Like, it's on the backs of these superstars because guess what? people like people. People like human stories. That's why they like sports. That's why they like reality TV. When that's why when people run for office, they're like, I am a loving, they trot their little kids out there like props. You know what I mean? People want to view you as a person and they want drama. People like drama inherently. But
Yeah, of course.
like, I also just think it's so crazy when to do that before they had, like, I would not understand. It would still be stupid and it still wouldn't work. But if no, it's true. If Ferrari were just bad all the time, their little shtick wouldn't work. But if you I would understand it at least a little bit more why they possibly thought this could succeed if they had expanded first, right? And brought these people under the tent and like me what I would have done if I was the private equity people, I've just purchased it, right? I would say, keep doing the podcast, keep doing the watch alongs. What we're going to do is we're just going to have you record like a midweek thing. I would split them up. I would have them each do it with two other people. And Katie's would be about like the rules, like a more like technical focus, like Bird. I would try to get Bernie Collins. You know what I mean? You can't. She is in a Sky contract, but you know what I mean. Someone of that ilk. And like what for Max and Matt and Tommy, like whatever they can, you can even pick, and to sort of build up those other people. I would also start putting a lot more. I would have people start writing a lot more articles like on the website and like putting those and have them all put them out via Twitter and try to at least grow your stable before you massively fuck over your talent. Because then they were left with no talent and then they had to do it in a way that infuriated everybody else. And I do feel a little bit bad for the people that they brought in because they definitely just like asked them this like well ahead of time and like didn't tell them like that they were massively going to fuck over Matt and Tommy, and so it just made them look terrible. But now you're like in this contract, right? And this is a full-time job, so presumably you've quit your own job for this, so like you're in a really bad spot. Like I do feel really bad for them. And I think that some of the people they pick I liked and I thought were good. I gave the pods a listen now and again and I thought were good. And some of them I already followed on TikTok and I really liked. But they also made some odd choices. Like there were people that I thought were really talented, but I'd never heard their like there was that guy who like did the F1 parody songs and stuff, but I'm like, I almost don't know if you're it's not even like, oh, can you like anyone could talk for an hour, but like, do you have interesting and I also think it takes a certain type of person to be able to like get online and like share your opinion, knowing that like there are many situations that come up in F1 where like you're going to be pissing people off by doing that.
I mean,
No, it was very funny the way it played out.
well, it's just the problem is that the they had no voice, right? Like they had no cohesive purpose together as a new combination. And so it's just like, well, you're doing a bad Matt and Tommy impression, as Matt and Tommy are doing Matt and
Yeah.
Tommy.
Well, and that's why they should have like why not even in that again, I feel like it would have been better to do it concurrently, but why not bring in like a couple of like the fan behavior girls or like the red flags, you know what I mean? Like someone who's already doing a podcast kind of independently and be like, "Hey, we'll pay you a boatload of money to like keep doing what you're doing." That's already proven that like at least this is like a proven concept that like some people like, anyone likes, you know.
Well, because the thing is, at that point, just keep Matt and Tommy, right? If you're going to pay red flags, I'm just going to use them as an example. You probably weren't going to have to, like, you probably weren't going to, you were going to have to spend enough money to keep them that you could have just kept Matt and Tommy for the same price.
Was it about money though? I thought Matt and Tommy wanted the creative freedom.
I think, I think they asked for a lot of money if they were going to keep not having creative freedom.
Valid.
Like, which, to be clear,
They should just give it. How about you just let them do what they want? Like, what could possibly have been so bad that Matt and Tommy, you know what I mean? Like, they're, It's not like I don't think they were like, "We're gonna do, like, a new bungee jumping show," you know, like, what they again, like, they built like, they successfully built WTF1 to what it was, so, like,
Well,
it's a detriment to yourself to stop them doing what they wanna do.
well, yeah, and also like respectfully, the new show is basically the old WTF1 show, except they split WTF 1 to 10 into the separate driver ratings podcast.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Braver than the US Marines to do that, by the way.
I would just, here's the thing, I really can't imagine that, WTF1 would have been like terribly upset at the idea of like, oh yes, we can have 2 podcasts worth of content that we can sell.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Matt and Tommy handled it in a classy manner and didn't like, you know, they were pretty vague about it as like is smart when this is your job and you need to like move around in these business spaces. But I do think they pretty strongly gave the impression that there was some creative tension, shall we say, behind the scenes. And that is like what really led to like the problems between everybody. And I'm like, that is just I don't it's not that I don't believe them. I absolutely do that this is a many such cases, right? But I'm like, it blows my mind. Like, again, there's just nothing that those two could possibly have wanted to do that was like crazy enough to justify the company being like, no, like our way or the highway, you know?
Well, and again, the fact that they are not really using, like, they are not using their newfound freedom to do anything crazy or shocking.
Right.
Like,
They just wanted to do their show, which was good. So let them do like it genuinely I can't comprehend what like why anyone thought that was a good idea, but
yeah, like I only listen, like I don't listen to every P1 by any means. I don't. I find them more interesting in a review situation than in a preview situation.
same.
Um,
I also just I find previews in general to be like very the only ones I like are from like Bertie Collins about the strategy and Nico about the track, and it's like on an incredibly technical level. Because other than that, it's just like that's why when everyone's like, "Oh, like I thought this was supposed to be about racing," on press conference day when they like had the kids ask them silly questions or they make them do games or stuff, and I'm like, honestly, I'd rather just watch these people fuck around and get like a little um like taste of their personality, especially from the people that aren't necessarily going to get the 20-minute Sky deep dive, because then listen to them answer the same PR response to the same, how's it going to go this weekend? Are Ferrari looking good? Well, of course, we hope for the best. Like, it's like, do you need to hear the same? You can just play the last time they asked that question if it really means that much to you.
well, and here's the thing, right? Okay, you've got an upgrade package. Feeling good about that? Yeah, we're hopeful we can close the gap, but other teams are also bringing stuff, and we'll just have to see how it all shakes out.
That could be from any race in the last 10 years. Like, and people are like, but God forbid they do like a little like question and answer like game with one of the drivers. People act like missing out on that Q&A response, the same one we get every weekend, is a violation of their human rights.
We have gotten precisely one good moment out of Media Day in my F1 fandom, and you are about to quote part of it right now.
Oh, media day. Wait. Oh, I have it printed out.
No, that wasn't Media Day. No. That was it.
Wait, what am I? Okay, wait, what is wait.
Lake Como, not Cuomo, Jesus Christ. Whenever.
Oh, whenever anything does not go his way, he lashes out with unnecessary anger and borderline violence. I didn't know that was media day. I thought that was after the race.
Max does his shit fed after the race.
Who could keep up? Because this went over the course. We were having this back and forth over the course of like 19 or 3 weekends and like 19 different media availabilities. The media availability could be about anything in the world. And Max Verstappen and George Russell would be like, that's stupid. The best part of the whole thing is a tie between Max Verstappen being like, he I didn't say that I was gonna shove him up against a wall. I said I was gonna put him in the wall. Okay, that's the same. One might argue worse, Max Verstappen, and then also to be fair, people like to act like Max doesn't give a fuck about. Max started this whole thing by freaking out over George. He was like, he said something to my face and a different thing in the steward's room, and I'm like, all right, let's not pretend you've never lied in the steward's room, Max Verstappen. I'm pretty sure they all have. But also, second of all, the video then came out of George saying the exact same thing he said in the steward's room to his face. And everyone was like, what the heck? And then George Russell, this will be the funniest thing an F1 driver has ever done because of my experience. Every paragraph I thought was going to be the last paragraph, and it was not.
So I want to set the scene. So George wins the 2023 Las Vegas Grand Prix.
Doesn't care about that at all.
Sorry, no, Max. Sorry, no, this is 20. This is 24. Sorry.
Yes.
2024. George wins the 2024 Vegas Grand Prix. Max wins the championship. George is like riding high, feeling cocky, whatever. It's a Max George front row. George is pissed that he was impeded on the in lap, whatever they fight. Max gets him into turn. Max is like kind of in a good mood pre-race. Like I think somebody gets him for like a driver parade or whatever. But it seems like fine. Wins the race. George has like a complete clusterfuck of a race. Everything kind of just whatever. And then Max just kind of like unloads.
In his post right there, like, how do you feel about winning the race, Max? That bitch, George Russell.
No, basically, like he doesn't do it even at the post.
As is his God-given right.
For sure. But like it's not even in the like initial like post race. It's like in the mix zone. This motherfucker decides, like, no, I'm just like doing this. I'm just unloading.
And the best part is like mid that interview. So he's going off on George Russell. And mid that interview, they're like, oh, is this like tension in the GP? Somebody else, this is like a second interview. Someone else is like, oh, like, is there tension in the GPDA? Because George was also beefing with MBS, F1 MBS this weekend because he removed the race director and was like, and they were like, why? And he was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. And he was like, oh, he's like, do you like think George Russell shouldn't be questioning the FIA? He was like, no, I agree with him on that. But that rat bitch lied.
So George had already spoken because he wasn't on the podium. And so he was just like, he had already got his media duties done, whatever. And then the Max stuff happens. Radio silence for 3 days.
He was writing. He was writing for that whole 3 days.
Then Thursday comes around.
A manifesto.
I wake up Thursday morning at like 8:30. It's very early for me. I do not wake up early if I can avoid it. And I open Twitter. And there's just quotes everywhere. And he's saying it to like different people. And I'm trying to piece it all together. And no one has the full transcript for me. And then I just race to TikTok.internet.app, I guess. And I just start refreshing your page every 5 minutes. And you delivered that morning. You delivered for me.
I did a dramatic reading.
And I have never needed you more than that. I've never needed you more than that day.
It's what can only be described as a Ted Kaczynski-esque. And none of it was about that weekend. It was just how much he personally hates Max Verstappen. And every reason, the best part of it is every reason he lists in that, again, I can't emphasize this enough, 20 million word essay is something that is also true about George Russell. It is, the two of them is the funniest beef, and neither side, you're the only George fan that can see it, and Connie can't even see it. She like hates George so much. And no Max fans can see it. The reason they hate each other is because they are the exact same person. And George is the only variant in their personalities at all is that George is like aggressively British and Max is aggressively Dutch. And because of that slight variation, they have
Is Max crazy? Yeah.
duh.
Brazil 2019. I raised you 2019.
It's almost like all of them who are multiple time world champions are fucking insane.
Yeah. Which is the he beats the shit out of or he goes and attacks.
He does. Oh my god, he pushed his shoulder. The way that people act like he pulled out a gun and shot this man. And Esteban was getting like if he was getting in his face, like he was. And I don't condone violence, but pushing someone back by the shoulder like that when they're inches from you is not violence. It's just not. He didn't punch him in the face. Like it's again,
He should have. Esteban needs to be punched.
should he have done that knowing he's on camera? No, because you just are gonna. People are still gonna be talking. People are still talking about it.
Max, no, okay. Let's not rewrite history to the point of Esteban deserved it. Like Max does just like walk up to him and just like screaming epitaph.
Yeah, and when Matt obviously Esteban did not do that on purpose, right? But
But here's the thing. Yeah,
but also I don't know, Max
that George Russell. I have 2 words for you, George.
Imola
2021.
Right, right. No, they are the exact same person. And it is deeply hilarious to me. Both of them are fucking unhinged. And guess what? People are like, yeah, Max is crazy and kind of a dickhead on track. Like every single other multiple time world champion. This is why the like infantilization of Lewis drives me insane because I'm like, again, I was watching him fight to the literal death with Michael Schumacher over P13. Lewis Hamilton didn't put someone in the wall over P12 for you to stop erasing my crimes. I worked hard on those. Like it's such a diminishing of like and I'm like I don't know, like I think it's a feature not a bug of Formula 1 that in order to be successful at the highest levels, you have to be a deranged individual. Like I find that hilarious. Like you know who else was deranged? Michael Schumacher, Seb, like all Prost, all of these
Who is Shumi gonna beat the shit out of Coulthard?
Coulthard and Jacques Villeneuve Loki when it was his own fault that he crashed him out.
Like, I'm just saying, like, okay.
And we should have let him. We should have let him. That's my strongest take. I will say it's very funny. I do think that Shumi gets out of the of criticism for like the Jacques Villeneuve and DC stuff because I mean, in hindsight, I get it. And I do
Yes, but also like Shumi is incredibly protected because of
well, yeah.
subsequent tragedy.
And I also think that like he is like and was like a really like kind and like wholesome person behind the track and had really good relationships with a lot of these people, which obviously is going to impact how you're human. You know what I mean? Like that's just it just is what it is. Like and again, I think he's the perfect example and so is Lewis that like you can be a good person and like kind and like loved by the people around you and still be a fucking psychopath on track.
And by the way, I don't think Max Verstappen is a bad person. I think Max Verstappen driver is. I mean, here's the thing.
Well, let's not get into it. But I wouldn't state that as confidently as I do about Shumi and Lewis.
Okay, but here's the thing. With Max, you do have to remember he was not parented. He had Jos Verstappen. The fact that this man is not a crazy person is like a massive victory.
That's true. I believe I will say this. If you really if you gave me like the truth serum, the Harry Potter truth serum, what I would tell you is that I believe in my heart of hearts that Max's heart is in the right place. And I hope that like Fernando with age, he will grow to understand a greater perspective of the world and be a force for good in Formula 1. But as of right now, I have to take the clip from the 2017 maybe film Enola, the Sherlock Holmes adaptation about his sister that does not exist. There's a great scene in there where he's like, the maid says, "You don't care for politics. Why is that?" And he says, "'Cause it's fatally boring." And then she says, "No, it's because, um, why would you have any interest in changing a world that suits you exactly as it is?"
That is actually a good quote.
I said the same, and listen, I said, and again, like, these people grew up in the Truman Show. Like, I don't really blame them for being like this. And I also think the expectation of everybody in the world to be AOC is just wildly unrealistic. And you will find yourself angry and disappointed for your entire life if that's how you move through the world. I think, and I also think, again, like, I think that people like Fernando, for example, like him, people can change and people can be like Fernando went from when his fans literally showed up in blackface is underselling it, to be honest with you, what happened. And he was like, well, Lewis should expect the Spanish fans to be mean to him because like he's mean to me. Um, and that, but in 2020, when he wasn't even a driver, so he wasn't asked about this. He went out of his way to do a New York Times interview and to be like, I think the Hamilton Commission is amazing. I think everybody should put their support behind it. Like F1 is racist and we do need to do better. That's growth. You know what I mean? Like I I hold hope in, and I think that interpersonally, Max has shown great empathy and compassion for others. And so I have faith in him, hopefully. I think we should want I think we should want people to be good. And one of my greatest frustrations, I think, with like the world at large is that it seems like the root of all of our problems is that like it almost seems like people want other people to be bad so that like they can feel good about themselves. But like I want the world to be better. Hot take.
Do you believe in a place called Hope?
Not really, actually. I think everything's going to hell in a handbasket, but like, if you don't have hope, like what other option is there? Like kill yourself? Like no. So yeah, I guess I do have hope.
I was quoting Bill Clinton to you, and you just decided to
sorry I
famously.
sorry I don't have my Bill Clinton quotes memorized because I
That's like the famous Bill quote. Other than depends on what the definition of is.
no, it's the economy stupid. I feel like he's got a lot of quotes to be fair.
The economy stupid is not a Bill Clinton quote. It is a James Carville quote.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Okay, can I get my two Schumacher related hot takes off?
Yes.
Number one, Seb would have won a title if Schumacher doesn't have the skiing incident because there is no universe in which Schumi allows the Ferrari incompetence of 2017 and 2018 to happen. If he is still alive,
Stop.
he would have staged the hostile takeover for Seb.
I know.
Like,
no, I know.
It is truly one of the great like tragedies of.
Well, just in general, not because of the Seb thing.
Yeah, but like in terms of how that goes, like I do think about like Seb would have gotten at least one of 17 and 18, if not both.
Well,
Yes.
I also think about all the time how much I think that the reason the F1 gaggle of like Bernie and all of those people were able to maintain such a stranglehold for so long. I think about how many things this affects is that for the entire history of Formula 1, because you were essentially killing 50 to 75% of the icons and legends of the sport before they even retired. There were so few left that after like miscellaneous health incidents and accidents, very, very few F1 icons reached old age. It's pretty much Sir Jackie, like Nikki, Prost. There's a couple, but it is such a small percentage of it compared to like hopefully I there will of course some of them are going to die of like you can't prevent like freak accidents or like health things, but there's going to be in because I sort of think of this as I watched like the Jensen Fernando to Seb generation is kind of the first Fangio too is going, is kind of the first generation of drivers where they all lived. You know what I mean? And so we are going to have so many more of them around in the future, and I am curious how that will impact things like the GPDA and the because there will be leadership there for the current generation in a way that there just like wasn't in past. And obviously that's not to diminish what like people like Nikki and Sir Jackie have, but when you think about how much they have done for the sport, think about if there was
Think about how much they had to do themselves. There were only so many battles that they could fight because they didn't have 50 of them, right?
right.
Like Lewis is like, hopefully he'll have plenty of support in doing so. But like, if Lewis is leading, diversity and anti-racism efforts, and everyone should lend their names to it, and everyone should help in the ways that they can. But like, he's like, it's going to be a lot easier to do other things that need to be done.
Well, and also it's like
Alternative sources of power.
right. And like Lewis is doing that and that's amazing, but like Lewis can't do that and like 12 other things at the same time. He's a one single human being. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So like he does that.
Oh, I strongly disagree. Someone who would never be seen again in F1 when he retires would not stay in F1 until he was 40. That is my opinion. I think, yeah, I don't think he's going to become a commentator or anything. Like, I think he's definitely, like going to go like do lots of other. I think Lewis has like a diverse array of things he wants to do. That being said,
Lewis will be at every Silverstone, and you will be at you'll be at like 80% of Silverstones and 80% of Monaco's.
I also think he will end up mentoring. He will be like a Mark Webber figure to somebody, I think.
Yeah.
That would be my best bet.
But also, like, just at the end of the day, like, Lewis seems self-aware, and Lewis is
also the whole like you're a loser if you associate with F1 in any way after you retire shtick that Lewis is on is clearly just a dig at Nico because you don't he obviously doesn't really believe, like, do you think Nicky Lauda is a loser, Lewis? Like, obviously not.
No, Lewis is one, a motorsports junkie, no matter what else is. But two, Lewis is, and a lot of these drivers are. I've said this to Travis Kelce many a time. Oh my God, you are whores for attention, and you are not going to get that attention being just like an ex F1 driver who like shows up to a few events in like New York and LA and Miami. You're not that guy. Like, you just become one of a million.
Well, I was gonna say, I think Lewis actually is on an A-list level in a way that like no other driver is, but at the same time, it's just a function of like how celebrity works, right? Like there are actors and there are people in other sports, and like I think that Lewis will be a big fish in a big pond with lots of other big fish. I think, and also you can easily do both. Like this isn't an either or situation.
Like, I don't know how big of a fish Lewis Hamilton is. I really don't.
I think you're underestimating how big of a fish he is. I think lots of in America, like there are most of my friends know who Lewis Hamilton is, not just like they like outside of myself, but they don't like know or care about F1. They just know he's a race car driver. But
but is he gonna? Yeah, but is like Lewis Hamilton? Like, he's gonna start a foundation, like probably like a non-racing motorsportsy foundation as well to do something. He'll host a big gala in New York every year. It'll be great. It'll be cool as hell. He'll probably go to the Met Gala most years, but like, that's not going to fill 365 days of his fucking life.
yeah, no, it's true. I also feel like people underestimate when they're like, "Oh my god, like it's so like these like I think people underestimate how much time you have in 24/7 365 when you literally don't have a job. Like these retired F1 drivers have no they have no, I mean other than the ones that have kids, but even them have no like obligations or commitments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also, like, respectfully, what is Lewis like? Lewis is also very accustomed to
But also now that he's dating
very lavish life. and I don't think this man is going to want to spend his entire like fortune keeping up with that lifestyle. He's going to want to make some money, and I don't think this man is going to want to do like 75 like ads. You know?
No, and it's also easy to, like, partner with, like, F1 or whatever, or, like, Ferrari or something. Like, I also think that's why it was so smart of him to you're right, exactly, the lack of a long I can so see him entering, like, a Nicky-like role, but I also think that was one thing that was really smart about going to Ferrari, regardless of what happens on track. Ferrari can offer Lewis Hamilton something that Mercedes never could, which is
Access to the Italian market.
the Ferrari ambassador role. Yes, obviously having Lewis an ambassador is a huge net add for Ferrari, but being at all of these Ferrari events and the fashion show and being doing the car ads, Ferrari as a brand does carry a certain gravitas that not only like lends an add to like Lewis like fame and like PR wise, but also they are so deeply integrated in like every luxury industry that like the connections and the whatever for that is very useful for whatever Lewis wants to do post being an F1 driver.
Counterpoint: Mercedes not making Lewis an ambassador. Every
Crazy.
time Lewis, no, strong disagree. Strong disagree. You're going to pay him $50 million a year because that's what Ferrari is paying him. Ferrari is going to be paying him like substantially over the odds. Um,
Yeah, because how much do you spend on one car commercial? A pop based post or a whatever, like 3 posts of Lewis Hamilton driving a Mercedes is the same as like this in terms of eyeballs and like name rec as literally one television commercial that probably cost you $50 million to produce.
except here's the thing: I don't think Mercedes. I don't like one. I think Mercedes has gotten everything out of.
Why will this not stick?
I think Mercedes has gotten everything out of the Lewis connection. And I think the fact that every single time somebody talks about Lewis Hamilton, it's like
Well, I also think I disagree, but I also kind of get what you're saying in the sense that Mercedes just has less to use him for. Like, other than straight car advertising, it's not quite like when Lewis wears again, like when Lewis is photographed next to Kim Kardashian in fucking People in the like Ferrari leather jacket, like that's a huge plus for the Ferrari designer brand. Like they have
Mercedes does not have that.
right. They have less
What? Should Lewis wear like a fucking Petronas fucking like hoodie?
I actually love, I will say, the baked potato if they weren't $400, my ass would be walking around, like, looking like a fucking baked potato. I think they're so funny, and I think they're kinda cool, like, you look like an alien.
I just don't like. I just think that Mercedes didn't like. It did not make sense for Mercedes to. It didn't make sense for Mercedes on a metaphor level because, unfortunately, because that's the other thing we have to do. We have to recalibrate this for the level that Kimi Antonelli has proven himself to be at this year. Like, Kimi is kicking George's ass. Like, well actually like George has, gotten back the points.
I would also like to come in and say
Montreal, but like this is a bit of a fucking shit game.
it is, and I also will say the same thing that I said all year last year. Not so easy, is it, when you have the fastest car to come in and qualify on pole and win from 30 seconds ahead every single fucking weekend? It's almost like it takes even if
you're treating George Russell like Lando Norris, are you trying to get me to hang up?
No, I mean I'm talking about Kimmy, honestly, but
I do like the Western segue. Unfortunately, we can't take, but I do appreciate it.
thank you. I'm talking about Kimmy. I mean, he's doing super well, right? But you know what he's not doing? Dominating every weekend. This is Seb and Lewis prop right now. That's what I'm doing.
No, Kimmy's qualified on pole like every time, but like twice.
He has lost several races.
He's DNF'd from the lead. Well, he DNF'd from the lead in he DNF'd from the lead in.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up. I need to. Yeah, that wasn't his fault, to be fair. Let me see. Winning Spain.
Barcelona. Okay, Barcelona. Yeah, you can have Barcelona.
And like George won in Austria. He's only won like.
But Kimmy was gonna be like thereabouts for pole position. Like if
he's only won 60%. Only winning 60% of the races in the fastest car. That not no, I'm kidding. Obviously, Kimmy is doing really well. But my point is,
two of those wins have been George Russell.
My point is when people
we only have 2 race wins. Fuck.
Yeah. My point is when people screenshot the 2012 or 2019 seasons and they say not that impressive. All you have to do is beat your teammate. You have the fastest car. Direct quote Lando Norris. It actually is pretty hard to weekend in and weekend out execute perfectly.
George Russell is a hell of a lot better a fucking teammate than fucking Checo Perez. Piss off.
What do you mean? Then Valtteri Bottas is what you mean, I think.
No, I do mean no, because it's not everybody can win 10 races in a row.
I'm defending Sebastian Vettel right now, but yes.
I know you are. I know. I'm fighting with the comment section.
Oh, that's fair.
Fighting with the comment section.
That's fair. But Lewis and Charles have each won a race. Yeah. And in the last, like, Kimi has definitely. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. He obviously had an amazing qualifying today, so no hate, no shade. He is, again, this isn't me saying Kimi isn't doing amazing. What I'm saying is he has not been perfect. And when people watch certain drivers, Seb and Lewis, have borderline flawless seasons, and they're like, well, that's so easy. He has the fastest car. We've watched the last 2 drivers, both of whom, to differing extents, are very talented drivers, be unable to do that. Perhaps people should reassess that take.
Yes. Seb Vettel, yes.
I wasn't sorry, was oh.
Okay. Being like faux air raid.
Not everyone, no, you're right. Not everyone can win 10 races in a row. Or 9.
Not okay, here's the thing. Being like
I'm on your side, Kelp. I stand with you.
Being like faux outraged about people attacking my boy George Russell is like
no, yeah, Evan's not actually mad, but I will say, I'm just saying that I'm just saying because there's a lot of Seb dismissal, downplay because he had the fastest car, which I would argue that during 2010 and 2012, nobody had the fastest car for more than like 2 races in a row ever. And he also won 2 of the most competitive seasons in the world. And in the case of Lewis, I would say that early in his career, he won some incredibly competitive seasons, but also later on, when he really didn't have any competition, he still got pole, and executed flawlessly 9 times out of 10, which is incredibly difficult to do. And nobody has been able to do it besides Max since.
Well, and here's the thing. Lewis would have had, or at least had a chance to get the win streak in 2020 if the single stupidest F1 race of all time, Monza 2020, does not happen. Like,
and also, like, Turkey, it's the streak of it all is honestly sheer luck. Like, because you are not saying you don't have to execute perfectly, but I mean, in terms of there are people that have executed. If you have, there are circumstances beyond your control that can cause you to DNF. You know what I mean?
Like when the team doesn't tell you that their lane's closed.
For example, many people are saying.
Like that's the thing. Like I don't remember 2020 like quite like that. But like, I feel like
Also, Turkey 2020. I actually don't think Monza 2020 is the stupidest F1 race to ever happen. Remember when Turkey 2020 happened, and for some reason that we were like, what if we went F1 racing on ice, on slippery, wet ice?
okay, but here's the thing though, like, I don't think weather can be the stupidest race of all time.
But that wasn't. Yes, it was made worse. That doesn't always happen when it rains. Like they literally had it. It was the track surface, I will say. Oh, you're right. 2005 USGP, Chris. Good shout. That was officially the dumbest race ever.
Okay, does that even count though?
Technically, yes, it counts as a race.
Schumacher's only win of the season.
Hell yeah, brother. And you know what? For that reason, it definitely counts.
Well, that's the crazy. That's the crazy thing is that like it's the fakest win of all time. Great, you beat two Minardi's and two Jordans.
Hey.
Counterpoint. Counterpoint.
Counterpoint. He was willing to risk his life to.
Well, no, because the thing is, they had the tires.
Oh, you're right. They had the right tires.
So it was fine. But no, here's the thing: they built the entire 2005 regulation solely around the idea of fucking over Schumacher and Ferrari. So like getting a bullshit win to keep your like win streak alive.
I support it.
I'm fine with it, you know.
No, I'll allow it because I like Michael Schumacher and I'm a horrifically biased human being.
Can I get my second? Can I get my second shimmy takeoff?
Yes.
People would be more comfortable saying. People would be more comfortable admitting that he is the second greatest driver of all time instead of clinging to the idea that he is like actually the GOAT. If you like look at this incredibly selective set of stats, if he was just healthy and like kind of around.
Well, I agree because I think he would be like, yeah, no, Lewis is the GOAT. Like that's just kind of his personality. And I also think it's less that, and I think it's more the Ferrari of it all, which I do think Lewis understands and is part of what motivated him to go to Ferrari.
Maybe, but like I do think that there's like a certain like defensiveness of him and his talents and like refusal to just admit that like no, he's been surpassed.
I mean, this is consistently your take. Obviously, yes, people are nicer to him because he is incapacitated. But I really think that this specifically, the goat thing, is more to do with the Tifosi because I think they have such an attachment to him because he's the only one who's brought to success to Ferrari since 1412 that
That is the other part of this that's so crazy. Is like you call Ferrari the Yankees. They are not the Yankees. The Yankees actually won shit. They're like
yeah, in the 90s.
They're the fucking Chicago Cubs.
No, the Ferrari won shit with Chumi.
Yeah, and the Cubs won the trade. Fine, they're the Red Sox.
Okay, now that is mean and cruel. But you're right, low key, because it's the problem is the ownership.
One, the problem is the ownership. But two, like storied team that won a lot a very, very long time ago.
But no, because Red Sox fans are so pessimistic. Like the reason they're the Yankees is because the Tifosi are Yankees fans. They could. I feel like Dallas Cowboys is really the perfect comparison. Because
so then who's like the Roger Staubach of Ferrari? If Schumi is like Aikman, is like the Aikman Emmett Smith team, then who's like the Staubach for them? Who won
Fernando. Oh, before that. Oh, hang on, wait. Nikki.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it was since
this is a great like 30-minute YouTube video for you and us to do. F1 teams as North American sports franchises.
That's so true. I have many thoughts. That almost as good as our Mount Rushmore, but you have to assign a driver to that president specifically.
That was a great one. That was a great one we did for the script session. Blatantly ripped it off from the big picture, but it was very good.
Listen, it's a good concept. It's a good concept. And then it's really all because I like that you specifically have to name them because then you have to make someone Thomas Jefferson, which is actually a horrific insult.
I mean,
You get to be on Mount Rushmore, but you got to be the pedophile.
right, of course.
Obviously, we made Senna Thomas Jefferson.
We did not put set on this.
I that was a little jokey joke about some other people who liked 15-year-olds.
No, I know, but I was just like wanted to make clear that we do not have that
No,
motivation.
we decided that for the sake of the discussion. This is on YouTube, by the way. You can watch it. For the sake of the discussion, we were going to put aside the fact that these people were slave owners, not because it is historically insignificant, but because we don't want to accuse random people who have never done anything like that of owning slaves. That would be a fucking crazy thing to do.
Correct. Like you do simply have to put that part of American history aside.
Because that would be a really fucked up thing to say about someone.
Correct. No, it was quite. That was very good. Didn't I say I wanted to do? Oh no, this is like a season recap and preview. I do want to do that though for YouTube later. Um, who's Williams? Who do we want to be really mean about and compare to Williams? Because now I want to do this.
But they have to have like they have to used to be good.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But like, they actually have to be really good in the past and now be really bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Bears, maybe?
The Bears were never that good. Though.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
they had like they had the '85 team, but like the Dolphins.
The Dolphins isn't going. See, Williams can't be the Cowboys though because the Cowboys now aren't like dog shit. It's the perfect Ferrari comparison because they're always good enough to rip the hearts out of the.
They've made enough NFC Championship games. They've made the division round like 5 times in the last 10 years, or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that is the Ferrari thing of being P2 in the constructors.
All right, you guys brainstorm. I am gonna go pee and get a hairbrush to do the top of my hair.
Nice. Oh, Williams. I mean, they could be the Leafs. That's really mean, though. I don't know. The Leafs have been better in recent years. Um, whoever said Habs for Ferrari, I'm annoyed at you. Oh God, it's Kelp. I just hate you. Apparently, Kelp. Oh, the Islanders Williams. That's such a good. Oh, Kelp, you've redeemed yourself. You have redeemed yourself. Let's go. Redemption, baby. Eh, again, Joe Namath won one Super Bowl. Like, congratulations. Like, what are we like? What have we accomplished with the Jets? You know. No, the Islanders are incredible. They won like 4 cups in the '80s, and then like, yeah, no, that's the one, baby. I would say Oilers. Oilers would also work if it wasn't for the fact that would be horrifically offensive um, to the Edmonton polycule. We figured out who Williams are.
Wait 1 second. Who are they?
They are the New York Islanders.
You know what? That is a great shout. They definitely are.
Kelp has redeemed themselves. I don't. Kelp has redeemed themselves because that was their shout, and because it's like no, the Broncos again. The Broncos are too good. The Broncos won a championship a decade ago.
Yeah, when and also had enough sway with the league to get when Peyton Manning was caught having human growth hormone mailed to his house. He said, "This is for my wife." And if you look at his wife, it couldn't be a funnier excuse. She's maybe 100 pounds soaking wet and tiny woman, and they were like,
most hurtful thing you've ever said. Williams are not the fucking Packers. Get the
No, because again, the Packers are like, yeah, they're not
Super Bowl.
they're not winners, but like they are usually like okay. Like they're rarely like bad. You know what I mean?
I have seen my team win a Super Bowl. I have seen my team make like 5 NFC championship games.
Yeah.
But also, the Packers weren't even good enough back in the 60s. They won the first 2 Super Bowls. They won a bunch of NFL titles pre-merger. But, like, they won 2 Super Bowls and then were shit for too long. And then since Favre, they have been consistently very good. Like, honestly,
I
if
actually
Packers had more heritage, they would be Ferrari. If Rodgers doesn't win the Super Bowl in 2010, and they were slightly better in the past, they would be the Ferrari comp. But the thing is, they've won like, well, I guess you could say Kimmy won in 2000.
see, I feel like the timing of the Cowboys works out better because it is like kind of the same. I also, you know who I think? I think that Red Bull are the Patriots because they like are kind of newer compared to like other teams. And they were trash for a minute there and then they became good and they've been good ever since. And even in their like even in their dip years, they've still been like okay. Like they're still making Q3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like in 2 real sustained periods of winning championships, like,
Yeah.
people have flattened the Patriots dynasty, and it's like it's the 3 chips in 4 years.
Yeah. No, there was a Wes Welker never won with the Patriots. There was a minute there where we had to go like a long time, like 5 whole years without winning a Super Bowl. It was really distressing for me.
No, longer than that.
It was longer than that, actually, I think.
Because you win for the. I'm doing it by seasons, not by year the Super Bowl takes place.
Yes.
So you win in 2000, 2002, 2003. Steelers win in 04. Or I'm not doing this by. I'm not trying to do every team, but like 04, 05, Colts win in 6, Giants win in 7, Steelers win in 5. Who the fuck won 2004?
The Patriots.
Sorry. 2000's the Ravens. 1 is the Pats. 2 is the Bucks. 3 and 4 are the Patriots. 5 is the Steelers. 6 is the Colts.
No, 5 is the Patriots again, I think.
No, you're doing it by year.
You're right. You're right. I am. Sorry. You're right.
So it's the 07 like the 07 Patriots is the undefeated regular season. So then it's Giants.
The worst thing that's ever happened.
Steelers win again.
Then the Saints, because I remember that one. That was big.
Saints, Packers.
We lost to the Giants, I think. I think that was helmet catch.
No, helmet catch is 07. Second Giants Pats Super Bowl is 2011, I believe. 12 is Ravens over the Niners, the Super Bowl where the Superdome loses power.
Yes. Yes.
Funniest thing that's ever happened in the Super Bowl. 13 is the Seahawks destroying the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
14 is
Us beating the Seahawks, I think, is after.
Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
Malcolm Butler, not Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Butler.
Yes.
15 is the Broncos beating is the Clarkson Peyton Manning and Von Miller beating Cam Newton.
Oh, that is also. If I could have 2 things back, I would give Cam Newton a Super Bowl.
Was 16
For the second thing, obviously the first thing would be the undefeated season.
Yeah. Was 16 Oh my god, was 28-3 before or after?
No, it was Cam Newton and then it's 28-3. He's right. That's right after.
So
And then
yes. So you go from 2000.
No. Sorry, we lose to the Eagles, and then it's
really special, and that is
then it's 28. No, then it wait, yes, then it's 28. No, sorry, 28-3. We lose to the Eagles. We win against that porcupine. LA. What are they called? No, the coach. McVay.
Sean McVay. Yeah.
Who's the team though? Rams. I couldn't think of it. All I could think of was LA.
God, that's the worst Super Bowl I've ever watched. That was like 13-3.
Yeah, it was
Painful.
there was maybe like 10 first downs in the entire game.
Well, it was a one possession. It was a one score game, the like entire game until the very end.
But it managed to be the world's only not exciting one possession game because you just knew that it was just like three and out, three and out,
There
three.
was never a moment where I thought the Rams were going to score points.
No.
So it didn't matter that you were only up a field goal or up 6 or whatever the fuck, because I just never had faith that the Rams could score.
Yes. And then it's somebody, and then the year after that is Tom Brady with the Bucks.
It's, but yeah, no. So you go from 2004 to 2014.
Yeah.
Like
10 years. Damn, I would have guessed shorter than that.
Well, because you make the 2 Super Bowls in the interim, but like,
Oh,
you know,
I know.
but like, you know, the sort of like very defensive Patriots teams, you know, that win the first 3. That's your Seth Vettel era.
Yeah.
And then Max is Malcolm Butler to, you know, losing to Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs.
Brother. Don't even fucking remind me about that game. The fuck ass Dolphins. People are like, oh, why don't you? We're supposed to be big rivals with the Bills. I just can't even bring myself to hate the Bills. Like, I like the people of Buffalo. They're salt to the earth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have it in my heart to hate the people of Buffalo. I get why they hate us. That's understandable. I would hate me too. The hatred that I have in my heart for the Miami Dolphins needs to be studied. Genuinely a sign of mental illness because, like,
how mad were you the Wildcat game?
Mad.
Because didn't they pull that shit? Didn't they pull that shit like 2 games after Brady tears his ACL?
Yes. And that was just also a dark time. Like, but you know what? I will say this. The Jets, the existence of the New York Jets, no matter what is going wrong, going awry, we're in a bad timeline, no matter what is happening in this horrible, horrible world, it fills me with warmth and joy to know that the New York Jets will always be there flopping like a fish for me to enjoy. It's comforting.
Have I ever told you that I own a New York Jets jersey?
Why the fuck?
Brett Favre.
Ugh.
I own the alternate, like, navy blue, or I used to. I don't know if I still have it anywhere. But the old navy blue Favre Jets jersey, the Jets alternate that year was fucking, it was a primo fucking jersey.
Was navy blue?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was a great alternate. It was a 1-year alternate. They never brought it back. And I did buy it because I was such a Favre fan. This is before I found out
that he was evil.
That he was sexting female reporters.
Wait, were they about it, or were they being sexually harassed? Okay. Because that's how I remembered it. But I was like, wait a minute, was he just sexting? But okay, unsolicited dick pics, right?
So here's the okay. Can I get a takeoff?
Sure.
I do not actually blame Brett Favre for all of the very obvious horrible things that the state of Mississippi is trying to do.
I know he supports them though.
Counterpoint. This man has hit for brands. That man has been concussed so many fucking times.
And also an Oxycontin, addiction that is like definitively not his fault. So
right. No, like I just think that man's brain is
no.
And I think that he has been failed by the like branding of the Iron Man who never misses a game streak.
And I feel the same way about Aaron Rodgers, honestly, is like it mostly just makes me feel sad if I'm honest.
Well, yeah, I mean Rodgers is at least.
No, I think he clearly is like mentally unwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I do remember. I will never forget.
To be fair, he was always a little crazy, but
his family are fucking nuts. You remember what they did when his brother was on the fucking Bachelorette, right?
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like,
When for the fucking hometown, they leave two fucking seats open at the dining room table.
yeah.
So him and Olivia Munn,
Like they're gonna come be on the fucking Bachelor.
right? Even though, and by the way, everybody fucking knows that they don't fucking talk.
I know.
This is like
I want to know why, and I know it's none of our business, but I am so nosy.
because that family are fucking vultures.
Yeah.
I hate Aaron Rodgers at this point, despite what he did for my football team. No, I will stand 10 toes down. His family are toxic fucking people.
No, I agree. I think that anytime like a young 20 something cuts their family off so definitively like that, it's usually because the family are demonic.
When he is the most successful one, yeah.
And I also think,
family trying to leech.
and I also just think that like you like innately, instinctively, and especially in such a high pressure situation like being an NFL quarterback, you would want the comfort of family who are always going to be in your corner. And so if you're just wholesale dismissing that, there's probably a pretty good reason.
Oh yeah. No, this is my thing, is that like I like with Rogers, like I will actually give him a decent amount of grace. And he like Favre is dead to me forever. Like because even though I like do believe
No, once you cause
that is
once you cause harm to other people, it's like, okay, like I can still feel sympathy for you, but like you're done, you know?
no, Favre is dead to me forever. Like I can't even go back and like rewatch like old like the Favre era Packers games like and feel anything for him. The second Rogers retires and stops going on Pat McAfee's fucking show, like I will be able, and I still can already. Like I rewatched the Jared Cook catch recently. The fucking against. Speaking of Cowboys, painful Cowboys losses at Jerry World. Like I rewatched that sequence. And like I'm like, oh no, that's my guy. Love Aaron Rodgers. Like I'm already back. You know what? He hasn't said anything crazy about medicine in a while, and he hasn't appeared with RFK Jr. You know what? I'm
Honestly, upset of the century right there.
the fact that Rogers has like clearly figured out that it is not good for his image and ability to.
They're like, hey, do you like
play football?
money? Shut up.
Right. Like clearly he has clocked that doing that shit at Pittsburgh is not gonna fly. And you know what? Like I don't did he even do the like weekly McAfee appearance last year?
Yeah, but it was more the thing is, Pat McAfee isn't inherently it's him going on there and being like, I think you should eat worms instead of getting cancer treatment. Like
Well, yeah, no. Rogers was the problem more than it was.
like that's I'm not a huge fan of Pat McAfee, but I don't think he's an anti-vaxxer. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the actual real opinion, which is that the Steelers are an actual like franchise
Yeah.
that like is not gonna just tolerate Aaron Rodgers making immense amounts of distracting news every fucking week.
Right. No, they run their ship a little tighter than that.
Than the fucking Jets do.
Yeah, you think? Well, the Jets, there's nobody helming the ship. It's just sort of floating around aimlessly in the ocean. So you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Braun GP is an incredible like thing that happened.
Yes, it is. It's
imagine how mad Toyota must have been when they realized that they handed over one of the best cars in like F1 history.
Well, I don't think Toyota could have done it. I think Ross Braun is like Adrian Newey, a unique talent. And while his thing isn't necessarily like the aerodynamics of it all, I actually think he's probably a little bit stronger in terms of a team member than Adrian Newey because he has that skill set, probably less so than Adrian Newey.
Did he join the team like a month before fucking testing?
But he also has the total skill set. Yeah, but he was working for Mercedes already, whose engine they were using. So like there was involvement.
Yes. Okay. Well, here's the other thing. I don't think Toyota would have been able to win the fight over the able to either.
Right.
Ross Braun won. So that is
Well,
actually the
right.
best argument for this, which is
Well, no, and that's what I was about to say. He also has like the Toto Horner skill set of managing a million moving parts and also winning the political game, which is very much a part of being successful in Formula One. And that's why Newey is suffering at Aston Martin because because he's used to being able to rely on Christian Horner, who for all his ills was a okay team principal.
and there's a reason that Dewey's immediate first thing is to get the Horner regen of Red Bull, Jonathan Wheatley,
Right.
to be like, hey, cool, you're doing this shit now because
And also they're like, oh, like he's the team principal. That man so clearly doesn't want to be the team principal. And honestly, I don't think he's going to be able to fix all their problems as team principal because not only is that not the role he typically serves in, the more politics management side of it is a role that Adrian Newey consistently and frequently throughout his career has been like, I don't want to do that shit and I'm bad at it. I'm not going to be nice to people.
again,
You do need to be nice to people.
Adrian Newey is not team principal. Adrian Newey.
He is now. He is now.
No, he's not. He's interim.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're waiting for Jonathan Wheatley to gardening leave.
Right, exactly. But this man never actually did full-time interim because he just said, it is an interim because I do not want to do this. It's customary in F1.
And also, he was like, I know, he was like, he can't say this, but the implication clearly is, I want Jonathan Wheatley. There's no point in sticking a rando in this role for a year and a half while we wait for that. And at least I'll check on the fucking engine.
I mean, you gotta think that the Newey, like, I understand.
And people are trying to be like, oh, so Newey just assumed that the team principal was keeping track of the engine. Yeah, that's a very reasonable assumption. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, for real. Can I just say something? I think I'm buying Aston Martin stock a little bit. Not for this year, but people are now talking about this like it's going to be an entire race cycle of them at the fucking back. No, it's not.
No,
you know why? Lawrence Stroll has money, which the FIA wants, and Jonathan Wheatley knows how to play FIA politics as well as anybody.
And also, it doesn't suit F1 to have a team rolling around 4 seconds behind everybody else.
Correct, Amanda. They will get infinite engine upgrades until they are like at a minimum viability. Like they will redo the like ADUO test or whatever the fuck it is to like create a minimum viability threshold and basically allow infinity updates until you hit the viability threshold.
Yeah.
Or some fucking bullshit.
And people are like,
the Aston are going to be 2 seconds down in the final year of this race.
No, my favorite thing right now is people trying to make assessments. Last weekend, there were people genuinely being like, oh, well, the arrow obviously sucks. But they're trying to make real, genuine assessments of the arrow when I'm not joking. Last weekend, they had to cut open random parts of the bodywork because the engine was their shit ass engine was overheating and underpowered so much that it was better to just again cut random. Do you think cutting random holes in it is bad for the aerodynamics? Maybe.
I'm gonna suggest that that is probably not the way to do that.
The ideal situation. So, I'm like, I think it's perhaps and don't get me wrong, the engine thing is a huge flop, but I really think that it falls on Lawrence Stroll and whoever that other guy was.
Well, yeah, like it's just like a fucking disgrace, and like the thing, like,
and thinking Honda was going to be good. Tell me if you even paid attention to F1 news kind of for the last 10 years, you would know that Red Bull kept all of the Honda people that did their Honda engine. and we're 50-50 on Honda engines. You know what I mean? Like it, there was also another time quite recently where it didn't work out the Red Bull way.
Within 4 races of me carrying event F1, I understood what the term I understood what the GP2 engine referred to. Okay,
Right.
This is not a difficult bit of F1 lore to know.
No, and I do, and I get it, but also to just be like, yeah, don't worry, the engine's getting made in Japan. They're like, well, they were in Japan, as if Japan is Mars and you can't go, as if these people don't fly all over the world on private jets like every single day.
And also as if like,
well, as you know, you just can't go to Japan. So
well, as if Christian Horner didn't, I assume he had to fly to Japan frequently.
it's almost like Japan is a place that you could pretty easily go. The way they're acting like Japan is like Myanmar. Like, oh, we just can't. Just not possible.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Mercedes has to go to Malaysia like 17 times a year.
Yeah.
Is it Malaysia? Is it Malaysia who owns Petronas?
Yes, it's the state oil company.
Yeah. Oh.
They by the way, executed someone for being gay in 2019.
Well, Democrats nominated a guy who was calling people faggots on the internet in 2019 for.
And you supported him!
And then, well, over Susan Collins, yeah, but whatever. No, and then Pod Save America was like, let's try out the gay one to defend Graham Hyder against accusations of his homophobia, because that is, of course, what we are going to. The end of Pod Save America will be a happy day for me.
The decision to go all in on him and not El Sayed is so crazy to me because I'm like, yes, like I do. Obviously, he was always probably going to win that primary, and like El Sayed, it's a little bit more dicey. But it's like El Sayed went to Oxford and Columbia. He's like a serious person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
regardless of what.
Off camera, have whatever arguments about his ideology we want.
Exactly. Like, regardless of what you think about like his positions or whatever, he is he has demonstrated like the ability to hold a job for one. He isn't a blackwater mercenary. I would also say that that's a pretty huge plus. And say we know nothing about the Reddit of it all. If you were like, hey, one of these people has like pro rape internet posts on online, it would be a pretty easy guess.
Yeah. But also, don't forget, my favorite part of this story is when Elizabeth Warren, when Blattner went to DC, and Elizabeth Warren asked, can you promise me that there won't be a essay accusation? And his response was, not a credible one. Or no credible ones. Do you not know this?
Well, we need to move on to another subject. We can talk about this off camera. The way that's a no. The way he just admitted to raping someone.
Oh, I'm so glad I got to.
I can't talk about this subject further. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm already going to have to delete this or go back and edit this live stream. Sometimes I just go back through our live stream and I just like cut out the bad parts because I'm like scared someone's going to go through it one day and clip all the parts of me saying shit I shouldn't. Because the way I treat these lives, we're in the trust tree now. But the no comment. No further comments at this time.
Okay, but
no, because no credible ones is the craziest answer. Just lie. Why wouldn't you lie? Not say you should. Obviously, the ideal situation would be to not rape anyone. That would be my real advice. No credible ones. Don't worry, I only rape Republicans.
I need you to save this clip and send it to me for my personal archive before you delete it.
I will, because what the fuck do you mean? It's okay. I'm chill. I actually have no political opinions. I've never had one in my whole life.
so glad I got to be the one to tell you that.
Again, okay, we are gonna move on after this last comment, but I'm just would like to reiterate to you, as you absorb the main saga, I want you to remember that Roy Cooper, the most white bread, generic, boring, like El Sayed-esque resume motherfucker in the world, is about to put up Saddam Hussein numbers in North Carolina.
In a state that Joe Biden couldn't even win.
That should make you insane.
John Ossoff is likelier to win by 10 than to lose.
It should make you feel a level of rage that is unspeakable. But no, it's okay. We literally have to move on. We could talk about the do we think was Ferrari's race pace good? Do we think? I just
Apparently they're slower than Kimmy, but faster than George on the race pace. Sims from
we were just complimenting Roy Cooper. That's it. And bemoaning the lack of being able to be serious people in other places that I will not name. The
that might be the best moment we've ever had on a live.
I'm still my gasps are flabbered. But
I mean, here's the thing.
Ferrari is still the P2 car, do we think? Because Max did get the toe. Like, yeah. Lando had an amazing lap. I will say. I hate to hand it to Lando, but he did have an amazing lap.
Yeah, no, I mean Lando found one. I mean Lando's been really good in Spa. Like
he is amazing. He is kind of amazing in Spa randomly.
Like 21 was just like a cluster. Like he just got fucked by being first man to hit a Rouge in the worst conditions.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody said. Even Seb said like the first person who went into that corner was going off. Like it doesn't matter who it was.
And he would have. And he was actually the real star of Quali that day before George just like, you know.
Yeah.
I remember they thought that they had fucked up the toe, but Max didn't really want the toe in the first sector. He wanted that toe in the third sector. And they executed that shit fucking perfectly.
Shout out to Isaac.
I'm just saying, Isaac Hadjar, you are going to hold this Red Bull seat for a very fucking long time with these performances.
He is crushing it, and I'm very proud.
It's crazy how the Red Bull narrative has gone from holy shit, you don't have a second driver to now it's like, oh, you have like too many good ones now.
I feel like it's either. It's literally either. It's so true, and I feel like it really is like either or. But also, they just had a little bit of a lull there for a moment in time. But I also
Yuri Vips happened, and he was supposed to be the answer.
You're right. I forgot about that.
Well, that's the thing that no one wants to say is like Yuki is like fine, but was not.
Well, pick someone who isn't going to say the N word twice. Like, how about that, Helmet Marco?
Right, but then Yuri Vips was supposed to be the one, and he didn't. And Lawson, I mean, I guess Lawson is like kind of a good guy.
He's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing great.
I will say.
We cannot talk about Michigan. We can't. I have too many opinions, and unfortunately, I will get you canceled for expressing them.
Yes, I agree. That was the overall hiccup. I also think that
it's like clearly Helmut Marko still has some juice getting Lindblad at Hadjar.
I also think that there was not for as long as people think, but there was a season or two there where Max's unique ability to drive anything super, super well and to the complete edge and to not care if it means that he's going to crash half the time was obscuring how fundamental the problems with that Red Bull car truly were. And they kind of got themselves into an almost like Lewis Mercedes situation at the end where like they didn't want to admit defeat because that would mean taking a big step back and you would kind of and they're so desperate to keep Max happy and he can like you know what I so you're it's like sunk cost fallacy. And then also
Max, where he like kind of has an out if they like fall too far behind every year. Great job from a like pressure applying position.
And I will say, I also think that like the sorry, I forgot what, oh my god, I completely just blanked out there. But what was I talking about? Max. The I also think that the like again, Max's they were it is very tempting. The fact that all of that was like that they started to falter at the exact same time that there was a it, massive internal civil war kicking off and the guy in the best position to be able to help course correct or who has the guts and the authority and the long-standing like respect of others to be like, we got it. Because if Adrian Newey goes to Max and is like, listen, short-term pain for long-term game, you're never going to be where you want to be with this concept. We got to go to the other one. He's way more likely to listen because he trusts Adrian Newey. And also, Adrian Newey just is in the best place to course correct because he built the car. And I think, and then so he leaves at the same time. It's a clearly a complete shit show going on behind the scenes. I think that that made everything so much worse and also further incentivized Horner to not take that short-term pain for the long-term game and to be like, everything's fine. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because there was an inflection point. Maybe I'll just use Miami 24 when Newey ends up leaving. If Newey has said like we're gonna struggle, we're gonna keep doing this, but we're taking the car in a different direction, and that instead of gonna upgrade this, we're changing concepts and then to be better. And like you might lose your championship lead, by summer break, but after we will have the fastest car from September onwards.
Yeah.
Like, then it's probably a lot easier for Lawson and then Sonoda in 25, whoever gets that seat, and maybe Lawson can keep that seat,
Yeah.
to drive it. Or hell, even maybe Checo doesn't look like he needs to be fired because it's just an abomination.
And I also do so I think yes, I agree and I think it's a combination of between that and the Max's ability to drive a car that is like not slow, but unstable and unpredictable is uniquely good because of what happened to him as a child and the fact that he just loves the sim, he loves driving other shit, but also nobody else's dad was having them driving a broken down cart out there in the snow for like 12 hours when they were 5 years old. You know what I don't again, nor should they. Nor should they. But everybody
and that also means that the way that the Red Bull ended up being was a situation where it exacerbated the lap time gaps between drivers more than the talent gap between those two drivers.
exactly. And I also think like because the rest of these for all of the rest of these drivers, these kids, most of them had the best cart and then the best F2 seat and or F4 seat, 3 seat, 2 seat. They have been, you don't make it to F1 unless you're at the top of your category the whole time. And like that can some of them didn't have like the best or whatever in karting, but also they weren't being abused by their parents. And so they weren't being forced to practice and practice and practice on every version of everything ever. They were being allowed to be children, which again I do think is what you should do. But it made it so that nobody except for Max and I would actually argue maybe Charles because of the Ferrari of it all. It gave him this ability that no one else, say for Charles a little bit, has to like just every once in a while pull a fucking rabbit out of a hat in a car that has no business going that fast.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is that like obviously in hindsight, Red Bull basically did take a massive step back in 24 anyways. It's just that Lando shit the bed. Like Lando could not consistently find it, right? And like George won. George won in Vegas, and Carlos won in Mexico, and Charles won in Monza and Monaco. So, but Max, Max wins Spain. Who won Silverstone 24? Why do I not remember
Lewis.
24?
No.
Oh, right. George, yeah, Lewis wins that. Lewis wins Spa as well. Like, Oscar wins Hungary. You had this situation where, Max wins, in the European races that year, right?
Yeah.
So after Miami. So Max wins Canada. But, so Max wins Canada, he wins Spain.
Japan. Was that the year he that was the year, right, that he, won from pole in Japan, and it was, the craziest thing a person's ever done?
No. What was Japan 24? What's it? No, Japan 24 was early in the season.
Yeah.
Was it?
Hang on. Yes.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about, the post-Miami race.
Oh, yeah.
Who won Singapore 26? Singapore was one of the only land to win. But this is my point. Max barely won any races to the end of the season. It was he won Spa, or he won Spain, he won Canada, which is which I'm counting as a spiritual European race.
Well, yeah, because it's in that section of the calendar.
It's post Miami, and it's on a purpose-made track, so it's Canada.
Yeah.
So it's European.
No, they need to stop slandering my girl by calling her a street track. Because I looked it up because I was like, okay, this is obviously maybe it's like a stylistic difference. There are certain characteristics. I always assumed that was what differentiated a street track versus a non-street track. But according to the FIA.com, it's literally just whether it's on a street or not. Which seems odd, but I thought perhaps it would be more of a genre situation where it's there are certain conventions that dictate what it is rather than because if you took Monaco and just made it and just made recreated that track in say perhaps Saudi Arabia, it would still be a street track even though it's technically a circuit. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Perhaps you could put it in the shape of a sperm. I'm calling it the sperm track from now on. I encourage all others to join me.
Well, here's the thing. Unfortunately, we will never have to go there again. So.
Yeah, they're broke.
I don't think we're ever. I think Saudi, based on how Saudi immediately forced Madrid to live golf, I do not think they are going to be long for the F1 streets.
Na boo boo. How did getting in bed with Jared Kushner work out for you? Sucks to suck.
You should probably also clip that.
Oh, definitely got to take that out. But never has something backfired so spectacularly and so immediately. I'm hoping they sell The Sims because they also bought EA and everyone is really mad about it despite the fact that EA is a publicly traded I'm like, you think the hedge funds that were previously owned most of EA stock were any better than the Saudis? But
here's the thing: as long as you know what Saudi Arabia needs to do, and I will. You know how you're give me $10 million, and I will say that women don't deserve the right to vote. Don't deserve rights. If they can just bring back the EA Sports, it's in the game. Bring that back before every edition of Madden or NHL, and I will also suddenly not believe in women's suffrage.
No, you have to believe that gay people don't deserve rights. You don't get to speak for the women.
Damn it. You got me.
I actually only think I'll get up there and be only gay men should have rights because, as you know, women are inherently non-sexual creatures, and any women that display otherwise should be immediately beheaded. That please make that check out too.
I mean, in fairness, the society would be a lot better if gay men were the. If you had to literally suck a dick to earn the right to vote, I'm just saying society would be a better place.
You're probably right about that. But
gay men are some of the most progressive voting people in the world.
but they're also some of the most spiritually evil. That's what they don't talk about.
I'm sorry. Would the world not be a better place if there was if Congress was just 435 people judges?
Pete Buttigieg was designed in a lab for me, but also I understand that I am not the median voter.
I mean, you are in love. You are in love with two spiritually evil, repressed homosexuals.
Bisexual, one of them is. Actually, both. Alistair Campbell and what's his face? Tony Blair.
Yeah, I know, which one are we claiming is actually bisexual?
Alistair Campbell. You cannot read his diaries and not that man is attracted to women. Trust me. Why do I get a full and he stops after the first book, thank God. Why do I get a full description of the boobs of every woman you meet? Why? Why are we doing that?
Do we think somebody slid him a note after the first one? Do we think he's got bored of it?
God will. Well, I think no. He slowly became all consumed by Tony Blair, maybe, but also maybe he realized that it was a harrowing glimpse into the mind of a man.
Yes,
harrowing.
Yes, we all know about Mackenzie Pete. That's literally why he is spiritually evil. Get with the program.
Better than the
I'm sorry.
Better than the progressive champion that again was a black woman. He becomes the president. He's meeting with Al Shara, and they're like, it's the Spider-Man meme. It's like, hey, I saw you at Abu Ghraib. I want to meet the Syrian president just so I can hold up and be like, do you know this man?
Look, at least Pete Buttigieg has never said a certain combination of words. Again, it's a shame that we can never post your reaction to me telling you that, because I don't think there has been a funnier reaction gif that has ever been.
Maybe we could just mute the sound on it, but I'm like, that is not real. We are living in the dumbest timeline. Like, I actually hate it here. So silly. But yes,
quick race preview before tomorrow. What are we feeling?
I'm feeling
falls back probably quite a lot.
I feel like there's gonna be Merc Team Orders drama. I'm feeling it in my soul. We've made it too far through the season without any.
Well, you know the first time Mercedes touched on track.
I do. Spa 2014.
So that means Oscar Piastri is winning a race, I think.
Blair and Campbell is campaign 1997. Thank you, because I will be adding it to my significant collection of books about Tony Blair. I have a whole section. I have a Frederick the Great section. I have my other niche obsession with someone who I do not endorse at all is Russia's central bank director. But sorry, continue tomorrow. I do feel like I'm feeling some Merc team.
Is it that it's the second driver at a team gets the upset win, in which case Isaac Hadjar, I guess, are somehow winning this race? Or is it that the Australian is going to win with Mercedes?
Wait. Oh, I don't think they're going to touch. I think it's going to be. I think George is going to.
It was more fun to be like, who is the Danny Rick of our times? Ooh, Lindblad. That would be fun.
That would be fun. I'm trying.
Do we think Dev would spontaneously combust?
That would be very exciting. I love a good first win. I would love to get a first win.
Maybe we're gonna get one of those. Like,
You know what would be interesting to go? I'm gonna go and calculate how many. Let me write this down actually before I forget. How many like how many first wins each track has?
oh, that would be nice. I mean, I thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say like who won. I mean, here's the fun one. Uh, the best part is both okay, of the top drivers, like of the current top grid. Do you know who has the worst first win?
Charles,
It's real. No, it's Lando.
Miami,
Miami.
Trump. Oh yeah.
Miami Trump.
I would argue that having your friend die is probably worse, but
Okay, but here's the thing. That like
for him,
in a personal context, yes.
yes,
In a sporting narrative context,
not
it's
at all.
arguably the best.
Right, not at all, not at all.
Lewis doing it in Canada in his sixth race, iconic as hell. George gets Sao Paulo. Like,
Sorry, Sebastian Vettel winning from pole in a Toro Rosso at Monza.
sure, that's fucking incredible too, obviously.
The team's first win. I think it's.
I'm at best of the like current drivers, yes, but obviously Seb has a great one. Max has Barcelona, which is iconic.
That's also just so funny because it's like, why is it much like Vladimir Putin? Why is it for 2 full years? It was just Lewis and Nico going through the most like emotionally arduous like moment of their whole life. Like they're both miserable as fuck, and it's just fucking 17-year-old Max Verstappen happy to be there. Like, hey guys, they're both like, They're like, I want to kill myself and everybody in this room, and he's like.
Oh, I forgot that Oscar only won. Like Oscar had all the team orders fucking garbage. I just was like, oh, Hungary's pretty good track. That seems fine. Like,
Yeah, that was
that's probably worse. That's probably
no. Because I will say, I actually do feel bad for them in that scenario because with the way the internet is specifically right now, like they had no fucking choice. You know what I mean? Like they.
Yeah, but Lando did have a choice.
Oh well.
Lando did have a choice to give the quote afterwards.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just mean that, like, for the podium finishers, like, and again, all of them shook hands with Vladimir Putin, and it was no problem at all whatsoever because everybody understands the deal. But because of the way that the internet currently works, there's nobody in the world who's gonna take that in bad faith. You know what I mean? And shout out to Charles. I mean, to Max, because the photo of Charles shaking, like when Mohammed Ben Sulayem when Mohammed Ben Sulayem brought Trump over and like forced all of them to shake his hand, they're taking pictures of it, but Max is blocking Charles. So like you can't see, like you can see his little hand in the handshake, but you cannot see him at all in the photo. And I was like, because people are just gonna use that reaction photo forever. Like like it was just
Remember when they tried to run a George Russell as a Trumpy narrative out of DTS?
why?
Because that season of because like the last 3 seasons of DTS have been doggy shit, and there was nothing good in the season, so they were like George Russell super excited to see Donald Trump in Miami paddock. And it's him talking to Alex Albon and making the most sarcastic.
Oh, yeah, he's like, "Oh, should we go up and introduce?" Yeah, I remember that. It's no, they're both right. They're both again. Nobody, people are addicted to bad faith like arguments because I'm like, there's.
That wasn't even Twitter. That was like 4 different fucking outlets.
I know.
Had early access.
Oh, but let me tell you,
it was the only thing that happened that season. So what actually happened is they had fucking nothing, so they had to run fake George Russell narrative.
oh, but I mean, I'll tell you this, not to defend Twitter, the other, the 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 F1 blogosphere and I don't mean Autosport and BBC, like, I mean, like, the Planet F1s of the world, are the fucking worst. All they do is create clickbait headlines that say that someone said the exact opposite of what they mean against drivers that they know that it will generate a lot of that a lot of people on Twitter hate so that they can generate a lot of clicks and conversation around their things. They did it to Nico Rosberg forever. I'll never forget the most egregious one where they're like, first of all, like it was end of Lewis Mercedes time. He literally had just gotten on the mic after quali and been like, I suck at Formula One. I'm the worst qualifier of all time. I can't do. And they were like, oh, like, do you? They turn to Nico and they say, do you think Lewis is gonna quit Formula One? Which is such a trap question. And he was like, like I don't know what Lewis is gonna do, but like obviously everybody has moments where they struggle. Lewis is super mentally strong. Like I'm sure he'll pull himself out of it. Like he's a talented driver. I think that like he's just struggling with this car because it's not very good. And do you know the most neutral answer a person could possibly come up with in that situation? They were like, headline. This was the Planet F1 headline. Nico Rosberg thinks Lewis Hamilton is struggling. As if he just posted a TikTok that was like, Lewis is really struggling, guys, and not reacting to a clip where Lewis himself says he's struggling by overall saying something positive and being like, sure, he's struggling, but like, I know he's going to. They are the blogs are the worst. I'll take the Twitter gremlins every day, all day, because I do think the vast
At least Twitter will mostly post the clips.
and I think as much as I complain.
Twitter debunked the George Russell Trumpy thing in about 12 seconds after BTS.
No, and that actually gave me hope because even like the Max people, even the most anti-George people were like, this is stupid. Like he's obviously being sarcastic. Like, do we think Alex Albon is a Trump supporter? Come on. There just ain't no way. And so no. And I also think as much as I love to complain about the vocal minority, I do think that in most discourses, the the side of the good has more people on it, right? I think most people are reasonable. And I also think a decent chunk of the ones who aren't reasonable are just trolling and they know in their heart of, you know what I mean? They're just faceless. It's easy to just like troll on behalf of an agenda from behind a faceless account. Whereas, and that's why I feel like on TikTok, the takes and the opinions are much more nuanced because when you're putting your own face out there and when you're really talking to people, it is much harder to just be an asshole all of the time.
Oh, I'll put it this way: as somebody who gets comments on my website quite frequently, I will say the number of people who are, it's always like Carney fan 77 who's calling me an asshole because I'm critical. Much rarer than the person actually. Yes, that's
Right. I also, it is low key funny to sign up to your Substack to just be like, fuck you. I kind of respect that, honestly.
my favorite one. So my Wednesday column was a drunken. I don't remember what day I posted it. But anyways, I think it was Wednesday.
Wait, also, I wore this. I had a belated 4th of July party last week. How cute are these running shorts for that? I felt very,
Awesome.
I felt very America.
That's great. So Tuesday night, I watched. So the British Open's happening right now.
Yes, yes.
And this is where Jordan Spieth last won a major. And so
Has he won all of them?
No, he just needs to be Jack.
PGA. Oh, that's like the least important.
Here's the thing: he has the like. If we were to talk about like having the Triple Crown, like the Grand Slam -1.
I've decided I'm a Jordan Spieth fan because I saw a clip of him falling into a lake and it was extremely funny. So I was like, you know what? I like it.
Well, yes. That's because I did just send you like 4 like Spieth edits.
No, and it worked. Again, a good edit.
Because he's a crazy person. He's a sick
The one
man.
where he's on the edge of that cliff, I'm like, my brother, it cannot be worth it.
No, genuinely insane. Genuinely insane. Craziest thing he's ever done. But so I watched the documentary, the Chronicles of a Champion that he did for the Open win, and I got very drunk. And I wrote a column about how the reason that Mark Carty drives me crazy is the same reason why Spieth drives me crazy, which is that there are it's so close to being there, right?
Yeah.
And it's moments of sheer idiocy and moments of sheer brilliance, and that is the intoxicating quality of Spieth, and is the intoxicating quality of Carney, is that he can do great things and he can achieve great things for this country. And some dude just fucking came to me and goes, "I'm unsubscribing because you do too much sports, not enough politics." This is a column that is 1,200 words.
It's also about politics. Mark Carney is the president of Canada.
Over 1,000 of the words are about politics. But it's just like, if you are existing in my world and a Jordan Spieth comp is annoying you,
Yeah, it's not gonna.
you don't get the show.
This isn't gonna work out, to be honest.
This is just simply not. This is just simply not what we're doing here. It's like watching these lives and getting mad that we talk about Mercedes at the West Wing.
It's so true. It's like, listen, you can't. You actually. I need to do a proper West Wing, Ring. We should do a low budget. What was the podcast called that they rewatched the whole thing with Josh Molina?
West Wing Weekly.
That one.
I mean, can it just be me? Can we have a segment called Sorkin carrying women this week?
Yeah.
It's just the crazy thing that a Sorkin female character does that makes no fucking sense for the character.
Yes.
Like the time he makes Donna lie under oath.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that briefly?
Like when he described Toby's new assistant as a walking HR violation.
No, that was post Sorkin. That was season 5. But no, can we talk about the fact that,
To be fair, she was dressed crazy, but like,
yes,
but that was also his choice. This is a TV show.
But also it was a fucking. It was like she just decided to keep working in the shutdown for no reason.
Yeah.
That was really dumb. Season 5 is really bad. No, can we talk about the fact that Donna lies under oath?
Yeah,
Like,
that was so stupid. She would never be that dumb.
Of course. Like, what the fuck? And like, this is my problem, is that, like, you can't make the women be this stupid and make such stupid decisions, and then, like, have us want to care about them. Because the problem is that you have this, like, we do it anyways, right? Because most of the time the female characters are played by incredible actresses.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
No. I maintain no one has ever.
Seriously, because of Soccer Channing.
No one has ever got. True. And we say this all the time, but nobody in the history of time has ever gotten luckier than Aaron Sorkin got with casting CJ Craig as Allison Janney. Like, the whole tenor of the show would not work if she was played by someone who wasn't, like, not just a good actress, but like a top tier caliber actress. Like, it just.
Because she just forces herself, to be in these meetings. And so when she's talking to Leo at the end of season 1, and it's like, well, I remember there was an issue with India Pakistan. And she's like, no, there was an issue with you not telling me shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I had a problem lying to the press.
It was that you made me look stupid.
Right. Like.
And also, it's like, why am I even working here if you don't trust me enough to do my job, which is to obfuscate? Like, you think you have so little faith in me that you think I'm going to go out there and spill the beans? Like, that's offensive.
Right. But because Allison Janney is such a force of nature, when she is going toe to toe with Danny, right? When uh when she is when she calls on him, she fucks him over after he fucked her over with the Mandy memo, right? Like, when she's going toe to toe, if it's like a meek, if it's somebody who's playing CJ as this like meek sort of like lesser than, not really, isn't sure that she deserves to be at the table character, which is how Sorkin wrote her.
Yeah.
I've seen shit. Her just like randomly yelling at fucking at Kincannon and being like, "No, you fucked us. We're fucking, I'm coming back at you."
Yeah.
Like, she makes that character. Sucker Channing makes the fact that Abby is like the least coherent character on the show in terms of like her motivations, her wants, because she like hates her husband but also loves him and can never fucking decide which is which for more than 2 seconds at a time. Like every fucking episode, it's just fucking changing. It's like, oh, she's in a good mood. Oh, she's in a bad mood. Oh, she's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Because women, am I right?
No, the MS retcon saves that character, Loki.
But it's just like, it's just so funny because it's like, she just is like, it's so clear that like Sorkin does not think about any of these people.
Well, and also it's like, let's look at one of my big criticisms of the Sorkin years versus the non-Sorkin years is that I get that it's called The West Wing, but it does make the characters feel a little bit shallow, that we don't get any of their interpersonal, we don't get any like, or very rarely do we get any glimpse of their or hint that they have a life outside of these walls, and we get virtually zero insight into their interpersonal relationships with people outside the building. And the greatest condemnation of the way Aaron Sorkin writes women, in my opinion, is the direct comparison between the exploration of the interpersonal relationships of, say, CJ and Danny, or Donna and that Cliff guy, and the like Josh and Leo get the Roslyn plot, and CJ gets, oh, we need to fill a C plot this episode, so we're gonna have her call her boyfriend a couple times. You know what I mean? Or we're gonna do a random heart-wrenching episode of her dad having Alzheimer's and then just never bring it up again.
Or my favorite example of this is the fact that like, to the extent that the show is about anything other, like, there's obviously what the show is about, politics, the West Wing, etc. But like what the show is like, quote unquote, about, right? The closest thing is about his fathers and sons, because everything in Aaron Sorkin is about fathers and sons.
It's true. It's interesting that none of them have a son. Except, I mean, Toby at the end, but like,
right. Well, no, but here's the thing: is that like the best work we actually get at the best relationship in the show, Josh and Leo, is done in season 6 after Leo has the heart attack.
I don't. Yes, but the storyline where I forget what they call them. The Heritage. It's clearly supposed to be the Heritage Foundation. Is like subpoenas, and they're exposing like the Leo drug thing, and then Josh tries to fight that guy in the deposition, and that somehow doesn't become a massive scandal. And um, like that story, and where Leo is like, if you lie to me, I'm done with you. If you lie for me, I'm done with you forever. I love that storyline.
Sure.
That made me I feel like what really sells you on Josh, because Josh in the beginning is kind of a dickhead and he's charming, but I feel like that's what really makes you like love Josh.
So it's him going to war for Leo. Then we find out why he goes to war for Leo in the Shadow of Two Gunmen. And then obviously Noelle is just,
Well, Josh and Leo Christmas episodes, low key, because there's Noel, but there's also the one where I think it's the season after, maybe before. That
the one after Carlos for America.
what's the one? No, so it's before.
Season four is when Leo tries to get Josh to solve Israel Palestine
By
by
Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
Yes, yes. That one is so good. And one of my favorite scenes of all, it's the best C plot in all of the West Wing, I do think, where the president is clearly feeling some Catholic guilt and trying to solve every problem in the world by Christmas. And they're stuck there, and there's like this whole C plot going on of like, is Donna going to be able to like make her plane? And like, she stays even though she really doesn't have to. But then Josh is like clearly trying to keep her there on purpose. And it's like nobody else is, it's just like a little thing thrown in a couple times. And then this is my favorite Leo moment. At the end, Josh comes back and he's like, oh, and Leo's like, the president's come to his senses. Like, we can all go home. And Josh is like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'm already here. I'm working. I've got Donna. And Leo's like, oh, I told her she could take the helicopter to Andrews and like get her to New Hampshire. And the look on Josh's face. And Leo's like, that's a good thing, right? And Josh is like, of course, why wouldn't it be? And just about the least convincing voice of all time. And Leo just says, you need to get your shit together. And he's like, I'm trying. That is my favorite, one of my favorite, not my favorite, because there's so many iconic Leo moments, but it's one of my favorite, like, small Leo moments where I'm like, it just shows that, like, number one, even if we don't see it, like, everybody is gossiping. Like, Leo's tapped into what's going on. And also, it just shows, like, how well he knows Josh.
No, it's the season six, like the Leo Josh, is he's like guiding him to guiding him to getting to Santos is quite good. I just
No, when he's like, this is the room. Who do you want? And Josh is like,
I don't want Baker and I don't want Big Bob. It's fucking fantastic. The best work that is ever done in the show, arguably, this is a crazy opinion, but like, is the moment when Vinnick is giving his nomination speech, and they're all just watching it in different weight rooms of the West Wing, and everyone's response is just, "Well, we just lost the presidency." It's like so funny how little faith these people had in Josh.
I would argue that I think the best scene in all of the West Wing is when when Josh has,
Obviously when Mark Harmon is killed and they start playing Hallelujah and then it's
okay, I'm gonna word it differently. I'm gonna say my favorite because you're right. That is the best scene, but that is obviously like not like fun to watch. You know what I mean? Although Bartlett being like, for the record, crime boy, it was, I don't know, is when I decided to kick your ass as an all-time Bartlett moment. But my favorite scene, we talked about this last time too, is after the nuclear accident has happened, they've found the letter, and Josh is, it's literally just like, you're cutting to different things and you just cut back to Josh being like increasingly spastic in the room. And his wife,
and they do a great job. And they do a great job because they have Bruno say, "We don't do anything," because Josh. I know Josh Lyman. He has the political equivalent of Tourette's, which is just. And then Josh is just again becoming increasingly spastic. It's so well done.
it's so well done. And I like that, like, Helen, the wife, who Santos's wife, who hasn't really played a huge role up until this part, is like, chill the fuck out.
No, she's just like, no, you agreed on a strategy at midnight. It was the right strategy at midnight. I'm not letting you fuckers change it just because you're freaking out.
Also, the way they're like, nobody will ever find it. It won't come out. Like, they're acting. I'm like, girl, it's been 12 hours. The election's still 3 months away.
And also, like, have some faith in the press corps. Like, this is not like it was it was like what he lobbied for San Andreas to open.
Yeah,
like 30 years ago, for federal approval. It's like,
and it's a congressional. It's like very easy to find. Like, it's in the CR.
It's very easy to find, and also a very obvious thing for a reporter to check.
I also,
It's not like you have. It's not like you have fucking Deep Throat in a fucking.
I also don't get why you can't just anonymously, like, just mail a copy of it to WAPO headquarters. You know what I mean? They're not going to know that it was you. They can guess that.
Or just give it to to a fucking like, just give it to a fucking busboy.
Well, yeah, also they're acting like Oppa research doesn't exist and that like people don't do no fingerprint stories literally all the time. Like,
No, it's very but this is the thing. This is my thing with that season is there are plenty of things where like this is not how politics works.
you have to. It's the West Wing. Well, also let's talk about the fact that why do they only have a comm staff? Why is there 6 people working in the White House?
Well, yes, but like this is the thing. Like at least when you are, this is my thing with like sports movies or sports stories or whatever.
A junior speechwriter has an office in the West Wing.
Truly insane. But like, if you are suspending disbelief for a very obvious reason, which is to say that you like need a reason to keep getting back to Josh when like nothing is happening, like, cool, great, done. Like,
No, that scene is well worth the suspension of disbelief, in my opinion, because it's so.
like plenty of the things in that, like, plenty of the things in that 7th season are like, well, like,
Because I also do think it was important to show, and I like that he, like you said last time, I like that he caved and then it didn't end up mattering because it would have been not as good of a season if Josh was just infallible, this perfect campaigns director who managed to pull off a miracle. That's also why I like the Deus Ex Machina, even though obviously overall as a device, I think it can be a little like I don't often like it, but I think they did it really, really well in this.
but like like this is the thing for me. It's like people complain about like heated rivalry or like sports stuff, and I'm like, I actually do not need the like hockey. Like I just need the like hockey or the politics for the West Wing or whatever to just feel like above it, like minimum, like it mostly made sense.
My thing is this though, with okay, continue. Sorry.
Like the West Wing is a show about politics, but it's a show about the people. These are human dramas told like Criminal Minds is like it's a procedural about crazy murders or whatever, but like it's a story of those people.
Yeah.
And if you're suspending disbelief about the like premise, like I love The Good Wife, and it's like, is all of the law perfect? Probably not. But is sometimes the point of this to create a moment that leads to, Alicia finally fucking her boss after 2 seasons? Then I don't really care about the fact that, like, the legal case is a little cockamamie.
Right.
Also, network television used to have to fill 22 fucking episode slots. Okay, it's fine.
And I will say, this is the love story of Heated Rivalry. The Good Wife was a great show. The love story of Heated Rivalry, 10 out of 10, no notes. Both of these characters have incredibly rich, compelling backstories that inform the way they comport themselves today. That element of it, genuinely 10 out of 10, no notes. The problem is, my beef with Heated Rivalry is that the rivalry and really their hockey careers, beyond the extent that they have to keep this a secret, really doesn't inform the these people or the romance at all. And I would say that's where the West Wing does really well, is that the politics is a vehicle through which we learn about these people. And the Josh San Andreas thing is like the perfect example because it shows us that Josh can't help. Josh's fatal flaw is that he can't help himself. And we learn it in the very first episode where he's like, your God's too busy being indicted for tax fraud. So I, that's where I think Heated Rivalry does fall short in my estimation. I love a slow burn where they're already fucking. It's genuinely my favorite genre. So like I loved it. I enjoyed it. But I think it's not a hockey show. It's a love story where they happen to be hockey players. And I would love a true, whether it be lesbians doing ballet or Canadian juniors or F1 or whatever it is, a story where these people, like what is happening on ice or on track or on stage or like within the ballet hierarchy directly informs these people's relationship with one another.
Well, the big problem with hero hour is they both win, and they're in the real problem is that hockey does not conduce well to this, which is to say, geographic proximity, which is necessary for them to fuck as frequently as they fuck, means that you can never play for the cup against each other.
Right. And also, I just think that, like, with team sports, it's just less personal. You know what I mean?
The problem is that basketball would be the one that makes the most sense because it's the
It's
individuals. That or it's quarterbacks in the NFL. Those would be the only two acceptable ones.
yeah.
But the problem is
The reason a tennis or I actually think this premise would work much better in like a tennis or an F1 or a ballet where even as like opposing forces, you're traveling around together. So it's like you and maybe they live in different places or whatever, but there's more it's just easier to make it work. And I also just think an individual sport or competition makes it just far more intense rivalry-wise between each other than a team sport situation. Basketball, you're right, because and especially hockey is like the teamiest of team sports, you know what I mean? So, a quarterbacks could work, but I'm also just like, the NFL schedule is so intense that, like, when the fuck would these people hang out?
that's the problem. It's like if you want them to be. I mean, I guess the one advantage of football is that they don't do geographic conferences.
That's true.
So you could be the way. Oh God, if you were going to do it, you know what you do? Jets and Giants.
You're right. Genius.
Because then they're in the same city.
Different divisions, though.
Different conferences.
Right, conferences, that's what I meant.
You have the possibility of a Super Bowl appearance, right?
Yes.
They both suck permanently. So the idea that they would need a quarterback is a very, very real thing. It's a very plausible idea. And like we have also had like intensely good quarterback have them have gone to college and like have them have both been like SEC quarterbacks or Big Ten quarterbacks, right? Like one at Michigan, one at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So there's like some like there. Yes.
That is actually brilliant and genius. Yeah, I guess they could have done Rangers Islanders, but it wouldn't have. But at least then there'd be like a rivalry there, something. You know what I mean? Yeah,
But the thing is, they're just playing on the fact that like Boston and Montreal are rivals, but hockey just doesn't work for that because you can both be great and somebody just loses, and it's like kind of not your fault. And that's like really the problem with this is like I have just seen, the two Stanley Cup Finals before this. The best player on the ice is an Edmonton Oiler, and the Oilers lost because they didn't have goaltending.
right. And
it's like, what is the narrative tension here? Because it's like Draisaitl was incredible in 25. McDavid literally won the Conn Smythe at 24 in a losing effort. Like, but the team around them just wasn't good enough, and it's like you can't do anything about it. The thing with F1 is I don't want heated rivalry, but make it F1. What I want is Ferrari Golden Boy is gay in a title fight.
here's what you always want. Uh there is a secret gay athlete who is already in an established relationship and they get outed, which I do think is a compelling story, but for myself personally, I want that slow burn. Like I want us to go back and forth.
The F1 one that I am writing, he is so the premise basically is it takes place in 2027. Fake Lewis gets in a like horrible crash at the end of this season, and basically there's like an Ollie Behrman-esque figure who is supposed to go to a Haas or whatever and has to take a Ferrari seat immediately, sooner than intended, because of an injury to a Ferrari driver. And basically, he's a Canadian. He's in Montreal, and he meets a guy right before he goes to London to go live in London for his year. And he falls in love. And at the Canadian Grand Prix, he gets outed kissing his boyfriend who he's seeing for the first time in 6 months. And Ferrari want to fire him, but he's too good to fire. And it's this constant tension throughout the year. And Ferrari win the championship at the end with the Prince of Maranello, who has protected the homosexual. And it's a great fight. But Ferrari Catholicism and homophobia, come on, think about how.
No, and like I said, it is a compelling story. That I agree with you. But the love story you just described is exactly what I said. You're doing the opposite of heated rivalry, in which I really like the sports story part of it, but the romance just isn't there. He's just dating a guy.
Well, obviously, there's going to be more to the dating the guy. Whatever.
No, I want him to fuck Sebastian Vettel. That's what
I just think that just right, fucking just I don't know. There's probably good synchraz that you can read if you want if you want tennis players fucking. I need
no, that is not the elite tennis ship, my friend.
no,
Some of us were
some
some of us were on Fidal live journals in 2011, all right? No, I think I do really like that story, but
would that not have been better than the crap Brad Pitt Top Gun but make it racing movie that we got?
yes, it would have.
Have you watched the movie yet?
No, and I won't.
Remember when we were going to and then we didn't?
It's just I've seen Cars. You know what I mean?
We should watch Cars together on live.
We definitely that I'm 100% down for. I freaking love Cars.
I've never seen it. So let's do that. Let's do that over summer break.
And I know that you're down to get into the Cars lore with me because, like, how
I've gotten into the Cars lore with you before because I found out there was a Pope car and I went like, "What the fuck?" So was there a Cars crucifixion?
Yeah, because it's on the nose of the Pope car. There's a cross. The cross is the symbol of the Christian Church because of the crucifixion.
So was he strung up like? I would love.
I need to know. That means there was a car Roman Empire, by the way, because they're the ones who did that.
So like was Hadrian's Wall just like cars on top of each other?
They're like the spikes you put up to like wait, so you can't go through the literally no the tennis fanfic. I also like that implies like, but also the existence. Uh, if we assume that Catholicism played out the way that it did in real life in the Cars universe, which I think is what is supposed to be implied, that does imply the existence of a car Jewish religion, which raises the natural question, was there a car World War II? Potentially, but there was definitely a car Roman Empire, which
so I mean this is just raising so many questions. I need the Cars fanfic. That's what I need.
Oh, it exists.
I need the Cars extended universe.
It exists. I will say what I want to know is more about how the cars give birth, because at first I assumed that they just assembled the cars and like sort of Frankenstein style brought them to life. But we see in subsequent car movies and in the first one, I didn't notice this at first, there are baby cars that are small. They're just small cars, which means that they come into being somehow as tiny baby cars, and then they grow into a regular car, which to me does imply that in some way they're giving birth to the car. And ooh, Chris, that's an interesting take. I like that. But it does are are the female cars giving birth to these cars? Is it an egg situation? Are they assembling tiny cars and then they grow? Oh no, we lost Evan. But that is another big question mark that I have re the car cinematic universe. But also, we see in that the planes are sentient. That does imply to me that I really hope it's not I also hope it's not eggs. Um, that also implies to me that the trains must if cars and planes are sentient, trains must be sentient. Are the trains have to stay on the tracks? Like, that's a little bit are we doing train slavery in the cars? Like, are these trains being compensated? That's what I wanna know. And, like, the fact that they're stuck on the cars, do you say no, there it does. It does imply that. Um, there's so many q so I have so many questions. I have so many questions, so few answers, but it is one of my favorite, like, every time I oh, Evan's phone died, that's okay. Uh, Thomas the Tank Chris, I never even thought about that. Um, one second. Um, do Thomas the Tank Engine and Cars exist in the same cinematic universe? That is an excellent question. I must something to consider further, something to consider further. But no, I mean, obviously, as you can tell by my extensive collection of all of these books on here are about the Roman Republic, and then the full bottom shelf is also about the Roman Republic. And I will say the I do every time I read about it now, I do think about like how was tomorrow like how would this have worked in the cars? So yeah, it is one of my favorite deep dives to do. Imagine honestly, I don't think that many books exist about the Cars cinematic universe, but if there is one out there, I'd love to read it, to be honest with you, because anyone who has and I hate to say it because it is 250 American dollar. Like that is a crazy amount of money to spend on 2 books. But it is the coolest thing ever because, like, as someone who does, like, read a lot and has read a lot of journal articles, to find, like, the literal maps, like, what did the Palatine look like? Like, what did they have every map, every schematic, like, every it's so freaking cool. I love it, and then it's also great because, like, the textbook version of it, like, really lays it out for you, like, what you're looking at because it can be kind of overwhelming when you're first, like, looking at it because 'cause you're like, "What?" There are so many lines, like, what do all that mean? But so I love it. Once I get all the way through it, maybe I'll do, like, a deep dive video or something, but okay, I am gonna go though because it has, been, like, 3 hours of this live, 3 hour 3.5 hours of this live. So, I will see you guys tomorrow after the race. Ferrari podium? That's what I'm manifesting. I can't even manifest a win, that's how dire things but see ya. Alright. Okay, and then I will end you.